Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the S-Team podcast. I'm Jack Millington, and joining me this week, as usual, as ever, first of all, it's Mikey Rage Quitter Keating.
Really?
Yes, really.
Yeah, really.
That was
I
bad.
deserve that
When?
one.
That was bad the other day on Project Cars when you couldn't get a quali lap in. And I repeat, for fuck's sake.
Case in point one. I've got many more I can list if you'd like.
Case 2, why won't the steering wheel fucking turn? I hate this. Case 3, Mikey Keating has come offline.
Also joining us, if you haven't heard already, it's the Codemaster Slagbag himself, Matty Morris.
Slag bag.
So I get a shitty ass fucking nickname. He gets Matty Morris.
Matty Morris is Codemaster's Slagbag. You didn't hear it.
Why am I a Codemaster slag bag?
Because you're a slag.
For Codemasters F1 2016.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. How are we, gents?
Happy.
I'm trying to think.
Moving on.
Trying to think of a big, clever word to say to come
Please
back.
don't use your imaginary dictionary.
I'd really not like to know what's in your imaginary dictionary, alright?
Porn.
Top 1,000 searches, porn. Number 2, how to fix gay.
Number three to 1,000. Porn.
Like 17,000.
No, if you said that. And then 28,000. Porn plus.
Facebook.
Oh God, could you imagine it?
Oh.
I want to imagine it. Anyway, got a song as per usual. This week, obviously, Mikey guesses first, and followed by Matty. Although Matty, to be fair, has been spectacularly far off the last few weeks, so I don't really think it makes a blind difference. But for all intents and purposes, Mikey goes first. I'll play it. This song is bloody obvious.
People won't be with it.
It is. You'll know it as soon as it plays.
Nope.
Matty's got an inkling, I can see on his face.
No, that's Matty's turned off. He's just like...
Wait for it.
Oh, yes!
Everyone knows. See? I knew he had an inkling on his face. I could see it, like, he was like, I know this from somewhere. I know this from BBC F1.
Wait, did they come out with the F1? No, wait. Did it come out before it was put on F1?
Right,
I'm not telling you.
I just want to clarify this. Are we going for recording date or release date? Because
Release
you know
date.
what you're like. No, it wasn't come out right. It was released.
I always do release date.
He does.
I do always do release date, but some titles do have separate release dates, so...
Can you tell us what it was made for? Was it made for F1 specifically?
No, it was a song.
Shit.
The song itself is actually it's probably one of the best songs lyrically of all time, because
Who made it?
all Fleetwood Mac, like, 2 band members were splitting up. The 4 band members were splitting up from their relationships, and the marriage. One of the marriages is broken down. The other 2 that were in the band, their relationship was breaking down, and Mick Fleetwood was separating from his wife.
I know these guys from Top Gear. I know he's old, so I'm going very early.
He's got to go first.
2002.
He's got it right, hasn't he?
Do you want to go?
Looks like him. It's no point now.
Do you want to go? Go on. No, what was your initial thinking?
94.
94, you're both miles off.
Fuck, how much off?
1976.
Hey, I was closer. I went to this round.
How will you win this round?
I'm closer than he was.
Oh, that's just freaky as fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck off! I'm trying to see it in the light and used to like no. Where's it go?
It's on the floor. You're not going to find it now. No, BBC F1 took over the permanent coverage for F1 in 78, and that's the song that they used.
They've used it since that last
Since 1978 to 97,
I
and
thought
then...
they started using it lately.
No, they've been using it for a long time. And then obviously ITV took it over and did their own thing, which was actually alright, to be fair, for a bit, and then...
And they take breaks off you for a fucking overtake.
It's funny because today's podcast is actually quite motorsport themed.
Really? Oh, that's good.
Pretty much, actually, yeah, most of it.
Do we ever talk about motorsport?
Oh, well, no.
Not a lot, no.
Considering that's what we were fucking made for, like, that engaged.
No, if we did talk about it, we'd rant on about the same shit for
Yeah, that's the problem.
But that's the interesting thing, yeah.
The thing is, today is, what's the date today? It's the 7th?
6.
7th.
6.
It's the 7th.
What's it say on the calendar?
7th.
I was fucking hoping it was the 7th off because I get paid on Wednesday. I don't
It's like, oh, I've got to wait another day. Actually, no, it would be an earlier, wouldn't it? So you'd have been paid Tuesday.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because if it's a day earlier, you'd have been paid a day earlier.
Okay.
No, you
In
say
the
later.
grand scheme of things.
Off topic.
Yeah.
As always.
The thing is, this podcast I found out on Wednesday, and a great legend and probably my favourite F1 driver in history passed away on Wednesday, and Chris Amon is his name, and it goes to show that Chris Amon, who passed away, I think at the age, he was 75. He'd been battling cancer for the last few years. Officially, in my opinion, holds the title of being the greatest driver never to win an F1 Grand Prix. Like, he took part from, I think, 1966 to 1975 and didn't win a Grand Prix. Now, a lot of people who don't know F1 history probably wondering, okay, so who did he even drive for? Well, a couple of names. He drove for Reg Parnell's BRM team. He drove for Ferrari for 3 years. And drove for Matra. And then he drove for Ensign. And then eventually he retired at the end of 1976 when Niki Lauda had his crash at the Nordschleife. And the simple reason for him getting out of the cockpit was, I can't be doing this anymore. You know, he retired quite simply because he'd seen Lauda crash. The race was stopped, obviously, so that he could pick up the debris, and the team owner of Ensign, I can't remember the name off the top of his head, said to Chris, get back in the car, he fired, and went, I'm not risking my life to do this anymore. And just quit the sport, and actually, literally just walked off the track and went home. Because he didn't want to do it anymore after seeing that, after seeing the church come to Niki Lauda and give him the last rites, he went, no, I'm not doing it no more. And he got offers to come back. But he retired back to his home in New Zealand, and he tended to his farm. He kept a very close eye on motorsports, but he obviously passed away. Now, Autosport ran a feature the other day about Chris Amon, and they were looking back in the history, and he did a thing of who is officially the unluckiest driver in F1 history. And I'm gonna run through this article for the sake of people that don't know. In terms of races led, for all the drivers that have ever took part in a Grand Prix that have never won, or only got podiums, Nick Heidfeld is the leader on that. He got 8. Amon's on 7, and another driver called Jean Barrat is on 7. You look at laps led though, Nick Heidfeld only ever led 25 laps in his entire career. Chris Amon led 183.
And yet he didn't win.
And didn't win a Grand Prix. Jean Barrat's also there with 107.
Wait, how could you lead that many laps and not win?
Well, I'm going to get to that in a bit. If you look at the podiums without a win, Heidfeld got 13. Stefan Johansson, who also drove for Ferrari, had 12. Amon's on 11. Barrat's on 9. But, and Autosport said this, the only time that Nick Heidfeld ever looked like winning a Grand Prix was 2008 at Canada, when obviously Robert Kubica won that Grand Prix. And the simple reason as to why Nick Heidfeld didn't win it was because BMW Sauber at the time said, well, Kubica's got fresher tyres on a 2-stop strategy, you move over, let Robert win. And that was it. That was the only reason why Heidfeld never won. But out of all the other times he got a podium, he didn't look like ever winning a race.
My big friend, that sounds fuck off.
Yeah, I'd have been the same. I wouldn't have had any of
My
that.
fucking race, I'm in the fucking lead, mate.
Yeah.
Suck me up. See you later.
Oh, no thank you. It gets even more amazing, these statistics. You look at Grand Prix poles without a victory. Chris Amon had 5. Heidfeld only had 1. And Jean Barrat, I don't think Jean Barrat actually ever had.
Nick Heidfeld got a pole.
Yeah, I'm not sure what race.
I don't remember him ever getting a pole.
I don't remember him getting a pole. Wait, when he was at Williams, he did German Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. I remember that race now. Did he come second or third in the end, I think? Yeah, he did, yeah. 2005 it was when he got that, I think. You then look at races where they've retired whilst in the lead. Chris Amon's again at the top. He was in 3 while he was in the lead. But there are even worse statistics, and I'm going to run through the near misses he had. 1967 American Grand Prix at Watkins Glen. He was catching Jim Clark, who at the time was the greatest driver in the world, by a 1.5 seconds per lap. 10 laps to go, he was catching him, and then he had a lack of oil pressure and led to his engine blowing up. Spain 1968, 17 laps from the end, fuel pump went in a Ferrari. Canada 1968, fuel pump went again, 17 laps from the end. He was 42 seconds in front at the time. He broke down in tears at the end when he seen it happen. This one beggars belief. You know the track Spark Francorchamps, the Perrier.
Yeah.
You know how the original track was huge. He took pole position by 3.7 seconds and was dominating the field, and then had a whole radiator.
A whole radiator?
Got a hole in the radiator.
I was just say, well, he's going to need the radiator mill to
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
car to go.
Spain 1969, engine failure while leading. 1971, and this for me, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. 1971 Monza, which was without the chicane, so it was basically just 5 or 6 corners. He pulled away from the leading pack, I don't know how he did it. Didn't have any slipstream for anyone, he was about 10-15 seconds in front. 9 or 10 laps to go. And you know tear off visors.
Yeah.
Went to pull a tear off visor off. The whole visor came off his bloody thing. And he had to slow down and end up finishing 6th. Like you can't write stuff like that. But the one that he says is his greatest ever drive, and I think this is quite underrated. 1972, driving for Matra, which was a French team at the French Grand Prix. Took pole position, launched off the line, and he said, "I've never driven so good in my life." He was about 30 seconds, 20 seconds in front of Jackie Stewart, some other great drivers like Emerson Fittipaldi, and he had a puncher. And he went into the pit and he said, "My pit stop was an absolute shambles. It took him 1.5 minutes to change the tyre that he needed to get done." He came back out. He overtook 2 drivers on the same lap. Went on. And he was catching Jackie Stewart, who is still technically the greatest British driver of all time. He was catching him. Well, technically he is, because he's won 3 titles.
So it's hard.
Yeah, well, he's still jumped up.
Can we just stick to the history, guys?
I know. He got the puncher, came out the pit. He was catching Jackie Stewart by 2.5 seconds a lap. He came back and finished 3rd, and I've seen the video. The French fans who were there at the day, they at first they were gutted to see him, obviously, because Matra leading the home race for France. But when he crossed the line in 3rd, I've never seen a crowd in my life blow up the way they did, cheering for him as he crossed the line. His podium celebration was incredible. Like, it was almost deafening when you hear it, when you see it. And if you go onto some motorsport archives, you'll find it, because it was incredible. And he could, I don't know what it was, I don't know why, I think Mario Andretti summed it up perfectly. He said if Chris Amon ever became an Undertaker, people would stop dying. And a lot of people maybe sat there and think, did he ever win non-F1 races? Yeah, he won a couple of non-F1 races. But he did do something that F1 drivers have never done. He won Le Mans. Now,
there's one that has.
What?
Hulkenberg, is it? Or Perez?
I said he was one of the few.
You said he's the only one.
I said one of the... Oh, did I? Sorry. Well, he was one of the few. Thanks, Mikey.
Shit. I'm not.
Didn't do anything.
He just verified the point.
Do you remember... No,
you'll get the ball past you later, don't worry.
The history of Le Mans, this was back in 1966 when Ferrari were dominating Le Mans, and obviously Ford were going to buy out Ferrari, and Ferrari pulled out of it and ended up being bought by Fiat. Who knows what would have happened in a different timeline?
Ferrari would still not be.
Ferrari would probably, I don't know.
It'd just be the Ford instead of the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Or
at the time,
the Henry Ford instead of the Enzo Ferrari. Yeah.
But beside that, Ford that year finally beat Ferrari at Le Mans, and
wasn't that the
GT40? Yeah. And in such an ironic twist of events, Chris Amon is probably the luckiest person in history to win Le Mans. Now, in 1966, Ford were that far in front they staged the photo finish right at the end, so they had Ken Miles driving the number 2 Ford. He crossed the line, and this was just reward because he'd developed the GT40 for the last 4 years. He crossed the line first with Chris Amon in the other car behind him in second, and then another GT40 a little bit further behind. And you can go on Google Images and you'll see it. Ken Miles crossed the line first. However, he was classified as second. And the reason why this is, and it's actually true, the Ken Miles Ford qualified second at Le Mans. The Chris Amon Ford qualified 4th. And obviously Le Mans is classed as distance up to the finish line. And Ken Miles, because he qualified closest to the finish, hadn't covered as many metres as Chris Amon and Bruce McLaren's Ford GT40 had. And they got the win because they'd covered the biggest distance. And it's still technically the closest finish in Le Mans history. I think the gap, is about 8 metres. And Chris Amon and Bruce McLaren won the 1966 Le Mans despite finishing second on the road. And it's just... I mean...
So if I get this right, say if I started last in Le Mans, yeah, obviously if us 3 raced on Project Cars, I started last.
If it was on Project Cars...
No, yeah, I know. What really should happen? Or was that just a rule back then?
No, I don't know if it's true now, but I think it's still technically true.
It's distance.
It's distance covered, isn't it?
So ST Motor, yeah, it looks like ST.
Because they were both on the same lap, though. That's why it was distance covered.
I don't know. You have to look into it. I thought it was distance.
The amount of laps done, yeah. But then it
start line.
Yeah, it is. That's what it is now, but back then, because they'd started further back, and obviously back in 1966, it wasn't the traditional roll and Le Mans start we've got now, it was the original run from the other side, jump into the car and do your seatbelts up and go off. A lot of drivers didn't bloody bother to do that, but that's the way it was. People might laugh and say, well, then you're just saving time. People died doing that because they were trying to win races. But it's a shame, really, you know. He passed away on Wednesday, and
God rest his soul.
Yeah, an amazing driver. Probably people said he could have won world championships, but he never could because his bad luck was so bad it stopped him from winning races. And to be fair, characteristically, he was quite unlucky as well. He left Ferrari in 1970 just as they started going good, like they'd started to win races. And then he left BRM just as they'd started to be more competitive. It was like a career of just mistimed moves. But you can't really change that in a person. Which is sad, really. But that's the way it is.
We're going to go to cheerleading.
We're going to talk about F1 this year.
So far?
Yeah, we're going to talk about each team.
Uh-oh.
Just the teams, not the drivers.
No,
although we can talk a little bit about the drivers too. And we're gonna start from the bottom because it's mid-season break and basically nothing happens in the mid-season break.
Does it?
Not really, no.
They all go on holiday.
They all go on a well-deserved break.
Oh.
For all the teams and the mechanics and everything who lived the most busiest lives in history, then yeah, they deserve it more than anyone else to go on holiday. Where should we start? Let's start from the bottom, shall we? Let's go to Sauber.
Damn it.
So, Manor are at bottom, as you know. Now, what if Sauber can only officially described as being what Manor did last year and survive? Because
they got bought out, didn't they?
yeah, which is the good news. You know, they've been bought out by a frigging company that I've never heard of.
Who Sauber?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're allowed to keep their name now.
They are keeping the name, yeah. Peter Sauber is officially retiring, which is sad, really, because, you know, he's ran that team since 1991, and not once has he ever seen Sauber win a Grand Prix. Came close on a number of occasions.
Back when he had Raikkonen in it.
No, back when Perez was driving the car and they were getting podiums. Okay, just for the record, just so Matty has this in his head, Raikkonen never got a podium at Sauber.
No, but the car looked good, I'm just saying.
Yeah, oh yeah, it did. That Petronas livery was amazing, like that green and blue, purple type of thing, that was so good. But Sauber this year have literally just driven around effectively in the last year's IKEA car. And they've got two decent drivers there. I mean, they've got Ericsson, who on his day can be quick. The rest of the time he's about as slow as wet paper. Nasser's alright. I think Nasser's a good driver. But the problem is he's in machinery that...
It's shit.
Well, I wouldn't call it crap.
Unacceptable to become...
It's a slow car. I wouldn't say... Anyone that makes an F1 car that's actually can battle against other cars, that's an achievement in itself.
Except Sauber.
But in terms of competitiveness, yeah, it's slow. It's damn. It's not the slowest car on the grid, but it's one of. And because they've had no money to develop it, they've just got stuck in Q1 really. Anytime they get into Q2 is like a major achievement for them.
It's like McLaren as well. McLaren have been doing quite well.
No, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
You mean last year?
Whatever.
Yeah. Last year, at the start of last year, their car was about as... Oh, God, I don't even want to
as an effective as Hangman Veman is on a...
Wait, it was the year before that Magnussen was in the car, wasn't it?
I was in the Merc engine, yeah.
That was a good car.
It was alright, it was okay. It was better than the 2013 car, I suppose. We're gonna go up a place to the world of the Rosy Nana. And as a huge Manor fan, as I am, I can't pick it up. The thing is,
just jack the back out.
just like I can't hear it. No, Manor. To be fair, to get a point the way they did. Oh, great. Now it's getting louder. Now you're taking the mic. And there we go. But to be fair, Manor have done an incredible job to get a point this year.
Well, after his door gets opened up.
Yeah, no, that's what happened next.
Just
Just like,
all the way around.
Just like goes over your legs.
it's like we just sat there.
Fucking elevator music for it.
Don't know what elevator music either.
Yes,
Buy it now for $1.99 on friggin' iTunes. Mikey just going.
Thanks for the intermission.
It's downstairs, isn't it?
I know it's downstairs by the gate. I know exactly where it
Called
is.
the window. Sound emits through.
It's called the sound travels very far.
Yes.
For a Hoover.
So
oh my god.
Anyway, let's go back to Manor for crying out loud. You know, Pascal Wehrlein's got a point at Austria.
That's decent.
And no one knows, even Pascal Wehrlein's at the time, I have no idea where the pace came from to get 10th in that Grand Prix. And to be fair, it looked like at one point the Sauber might have got a point during that race, it was that bizarre. But Manor have got the point.
That race was a bizarre race though, to be fair.
It was
Not just because the crash, that was completely different, but...
No, to be fair, that was a bonus.
It wasn't it.
But...
That race though was good.
It was a good race. It was probably, arguably, one of the best races of the season.
McLaren's best race with JB anyway.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's, you know, it puts it, if Manor can finish 10th, what an achievement that would be. And for next season, you know, that money won't half help.
Yeah.
Definitely will help him.
Do you reckon they'll keep the same drivers?
No.
No, Rio Hadianto doesn't even look like he's going to get into the friggin' Belgian Grand Prix, never mind, next season.
Seriously?
He's struggling for funds, yeah.
Are we going to Belgium?
No.
You know, we can get there for I think it's like 400 quid there and back.
Be cheaper?
Hotel included.
That would be great if I wouldn't be working at the time, so...
That's it, we're going to make it sick.
Yeah, but I'll be...
You'd go on a Friday and then...
I'll be working on the Friday.
Well,
You know there's a thing called holidays. You can book.
Yeah, but I can't take holidays off because I get the half terms and stuff off.
I'll just pick you up at 5 o'clock. Then.
What do you mean, pick me up? You haven't got a car?
You haven't even got your fucking licence.
Yeah.
We're going to start this again. Get your licence, boy. Come on.
Anyway, in 9th at the moment we've got Renault, who... to be fair, they're doing a good job considering the fact that...
They're doing better than Sauber. That's the main thing.
Considering the fact that their car's got an engine that's...
Shit.
Working.
that's working, and it's actually not too far away in terms of pure performance, but this chassis on that car is pretty poor. I mean, that's, to be fair, after them just overtaking Lotus and getting the car back the way they want it, I suppose it kind of makes sense, and this is a recovery year for them.
And Palmer keeps his seat for next season, you know. I really do.
I don't think either of them might keep the seat for next season.
Magnussen's been...
Perez has been courted by Renault at the minute.
As if he's going to leave Force India for Renault.
Would you rather... Okay, let me put it to you this way.
Would you rather drive for a main manufacturer or for a team?
Who's got links to higher teams?
Renault?
No, Renault, if they're... to be honest, and Mikey's said exactly what I was going to say. If you look at terms of manufacture, they've got like a 5-6 year plan of where they're going to be.
Red Bull?
They're not a manufacturer.
I'm saying, but they're linked in that sort of...
No, Renault are a full force factory team with the infrastructure to go forward. Force India, don't get me wrong, are a brilliant team, and I love Force India, but...
I'm saying because they use Mercedes engines, they could...
But they're not well off in terms of sponsorship. They're doing well. They're doing brilliantly well, in fact, for the money they've got. But their future is not as secure as Renault's. And if I was Perez, I'd go to Renault.
Yeah, but the amount of points they've got at the moment.
It doesn't matter.
You said that before, the amount of points that Manor have got that much.
For Manor, for a team that only just survived last season, yeah. But if I drove for Manor and Renault came along and offered me a seat, I'd go straight to Renault.
I'd be like, bye-bye, where's my desk? I'll
up
for you.
Exactly, because it's a manufacturer support. You get a multi-year contract with them, you're more than likely to move forward on the grid with a manufacturer than you are with a constructor. The amount of money that Renault can put into this project compared to Force India is tenfold. If they really wanted to.
Just look at it this way,
this is like I've just said, this is a recovery year.
If you buy a Renault 182, part of that money will probably end up going to the F1 team anyway.
No, it won't, because it's a different division.
But it's all under the Renault flag. So the money will go to the main Renault, and they go, "Oh, okay, we're going to split the money." Is
that a French accent?
Shut up, I'm trying, alright? And then he'll just put a certain percentage of that into it.
If you let me put it to you this way: if you want to be most secure in F1, you go for a manufacturer team. You go to Mercedes, you go to Ferrari, you go to Renault. There you free.
Oh, I want to go to
McLaren aren't a manufacturer.
They've got.
Well, they are, but they're not as. They don't make their own engines. Oh, that's why they're not a class. They're not because it's Honda engine.
Yeah, but Honda wants to...
No, I'm talking about the general McLaren.
Yeah, but in terms of an F1 team, they don't make their own engine.
And plus Honda want to move to other teams as well if they have the chance. You know, like supply them, because they get more money that way, I think.
Yeah. In 8th place, probably the revelation of the season at the minute is Haas. Like...
They started really well.
Well, naturally. But obviously, with them being a first-year team, they're still trying to get the infrastructure together. They're still trying to get the team together. The second year is a true test of what they're going to be like. But for the first year, you know, they got a great driver in Grosjean. Mm-hmm. You know, they got a really good test driver in Gutierrez. He's not a good race driver. He's a good test driver though. And they got a nice technical support from Ferrari. You know, they got really well engine links, transmission, all the parts that are listed by the FIA. And I think they've done a good job. The problem with Haas, though, is what are they going to be like next season? But if you judge it on their season alone so far, it's been good.
They've had their ups and downs.
They have. At the start of the season, they were great. They've been a bit
shit
since then, but that's only because of the rate of developments. And obviously, Haas being a new F1 team, the rate of developments...
They've done NASCAR, and that's pretty much the same fucking thing.
No, because it's a lot more controlled with the regulations. They have like 2-3 different types of car. And like the only thing that's really changed is the aerodynamics. And aerodynamics in NASCAR compared to F1 is like going from Stone Age to now, to put it brutally.
Because thingy
look, just take
the
front of a NASCAR. What's on the front of a NASCAR? A big bodywork. What's on the front of an F1 car? There's everything's on the front of an F1 car.
To be fair, you'd think they would have got a bit of help from Ferrari in that case as well.
They haven't been really brilliantly supported by Ferrari, to be fair, but
that's the choice there.
Ferrari can't help them too much because of the
F5.
Away. Yeah, and then you'd have the whole Spygate thing from years ago, which
wasn't that Alonso?
When Alonso won and Piquet crashed into the wall. That was that was Crashgate. Spygate was when McLaren were copying off Ferrari.
Which was what?
2007.
Yeah, it's when Alonso was in McLaren.
Yeah.
Because I remember they had to pay out millions, didn't they? McLaren.
So got I think it was a lot of money.
$2 million, wasn't it?
It was more than that. It was like
that's nothing.
It was more than that. It was like 80 odd million or something like that. I think it was. It was a huge sum.
I'm still surprised Alonso got back into McLaren after that.
Speaking of McLaren in 7th place, Captain Honda.
To be fair, they're doing good.
They are doing absolutely great.
Compared to last season, they're more consistent.
Compared to last season, it's like the evolution of the ugly duckling into a beautiful swan.
Fucking is.
I mean, to be fair,
but soon the swan is going to learn how not just to swim but to fly over next year.
To be fair, McLaren, their rate of turnaround is actually really good. A lot of people, Martin Brundle, who I'm specifically targeting with this, is saying that they're not doing as well as they should be. No, to a degree, they should be doing better because it's McLaren. But considering where they were last season, I think they've done a really good job.
I mean, take Austria for example.
No, that was more driver than anything else.
Still, McLaren.
Yeah, if Button
had been third, the machine he's got.
If Button had he wouldn't have done
correction.
That.
If Button had had the same car, say if Button had qualified third in 2015, it took the 2015 car, put it in the same position, that car would have gone backwards like a stone. That's the rate of development that McLaren have done.
What I'm saying.
And they've done really well. They are, at some tracks...
Bigger tracks, they have issues.
At some tracks they're probably the 4th best team on the grid. They're better than Williams at Hungary, for sure. Marginally better than Force India. And all the other midfield pack. But at the bigger tracks like Monza, they're going to struggle. Spa, I think they might be alright at Spa.
Not the big straight and that, they're going to suffer.
Yeah, but with the other 70%.
The second sector, they're going to fly through that. They've got a good chassis. But what are you doing?
You know the Mr. Bean thing when he's like, when it's a Friday, he's like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, through the second sector, they're going to have a good chassis, but...
I reckon the later races, like Brazil.
Singapore...
Dubai, it'll be an interesting one.
No, Abu Dhabi, they're going to fall backwards.
That's what I'm saying, it'll be interesting, do you know what I mean?
They've got an engine upgrade coming for Spa, so it might propel them a little bit further.
Is that for both the drivers or just one?
Both.
Decent.
They could go further forward, but I'm not sure... I don't think
Mexico will be good.
They'll fall backwards.
Oh my god.
They are going to struggle. The whole track is basically straight points.
It's like Baku all over again. Long, super long.
Well, no, because Baku is quite tight and technical, to be fair.
With one straight.
Mexico's quite wide.
No, I mean, like the straight wise, they're not going to be able to pick up the speed they've got to do with cars, so...
No, they're gonna struggle, I think, in Mexico. There are certain tracks they're going to be really good at, and then there's going to be others where they're going to be slow. Where they've improved the most, for me, is the technical departments. Because Eric Boulier has managed to somehow get all the team from Honda, and all the team at McLaren, and all the inter-departments working as a fully cohesive team. Last season, they were all over the place.
Yeah.
And now, Eric Boulier's managed to go, right, I've sorted the situation out. And they're doing, in terms of department-wise, they're doing better than most teams on the grid. And they're doing really well in that regard. And I think next season, they'll kick on again. Where they'll be, if the Honda engine can improve to, say, Ferrari's level, they'll be a front-runner. But it has to be at that level, though. If it's not, they won't. It's all on Honda for next year now. As it was this year.
The chassis is brilliant.
Chassis's not brilliant, but it's
good.
It's good. It's probably better than Ferrari's. If they had a car that's the same engine power as the Ferrari, they'd have a better car than Ferrari. They'd probably be third best team. But no better. Because it's not as good as Red Bull's and it's not as good as Merck's.
You wouldn't think that, would you, from Red Bull?
What?
The amount of panic they had in their fucking voices last year trying to find an engine. We need an engine! Ooh, look
It's
at
like
this one.
it's like sitting there, Honda's like HQ, like the security guard, like, we're not open to that.
This is like Mr. Horner is on the premises, escorts him from the premises.
He's just sneaking about with Danny Kvyat when he was there.
No, Christian, just take this door.
Oh no, go back to Renault where you belong.
We got kicked out.
It's like-
Actually, we kicked ourselves out.
It's like, excuse me, Christian, you're looking for something? Yes, I'd like to discuss an engine transplant. Right, I'll just show you where to go, and then he'll help you. Okay,
So
that's right.
you know where you need
See
to
that
go?
set of doors right there?
You
Then
go,
just go through.
no, I've got it perfectly. See the set of doors, you walk right through, yeah? Now you see the little sign that says, in Versailles, France, yeah, you fuck off over there.
No, as you see, if you go down this corridor here, yeah, take a right, okay, you'll see a glass set of doors. It's a fire exit, but yeah, go through anyway, it will not set the alarm off, right?
You won't set
Keep
the hounds
going.
on you.
There's a car in the car park. Presumably it's yours,
not
probably a
alarmed.
Lexus or a Renault, yeah. Get in it
Yeah.
and fuck off. Thanks for visiting Honda today. Thank you.
In sixth at the moment currently, just 3 points in front of McLaren, is Matty's choice for the season, Toro Rosso.
They've fallen dramatically.
And the only-
really?
And the only reason why...
Verstappen, I need him back.
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
The problem with Toro Rosso, and I said this is what stopped me from picking Toro Rosso at the start of the season and our bet.
Yeah.
Their engine development. Like, the Honda is now more powerful than the 2015 Ferrari. Only just. Like, by 2 horsepower.
2
But
horses more.
it's 2 horses more, so you can celebrate that. I mean, they're doing a good job, to be fair. Carlos Sainz has been a great driver for the season. And arguably,
Kvyat's had bad luck.
I think Kvyat's been unlucky, and I think it's more comes from him, because Toro Rosso said, we're behind you, we'll support you. You know, he could very easily get a driver next season. He just needs to stop kicking himself in the face, beating himself up. If he just takes this summer break now, resets himself, I'm sure he'll be fine, and he'll be more than a match for Sainz, because he's a good driver. He proved that.
Look at him 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, it was.
A year ago, yeah.
When he was in Toro Rosso himself, he was doing
He
great.
was doing great, and he got picked ahead of Sainz to go into that seat, because Sainz was on the way up anyway at the time.
He's just depressed.
I think it's just because you would be though, wouldn't you? After getting a podium and then getting knocked out of the team the next race, because he got a podium in China, yeah. Well, it wasn't for that. Verstappen was moved into Red Bull because Red Bull wanted to keep him and stop Ferrari for getting him from next year, and that was basically the main reason. Plus the fact that he's good. He's a really good driver.
Not just good, he's great.
Has he signed the contract though?
Yeah, he has.
He's Verstappen.
Yeah, for next season as well. Yeah, he signed.
Yeah, didn't he?
Wait, we'll come to Red Bull in a bit.
Oh, sorry.
But like Toro Rosso, I think have got as usual. They've got a very good design there. They've got a very good car. James Key, who's their technical director, probably the best director outside the top 4 teams. Really, he's really good. And I'm going to talk about Ferrari in a bit, but you'll see where I'm going in a minute.
Ferrari in a minute.
Yeah, in 5th place, currently in a battle with Williams is Force India. They're on 81 points, so if you double McLaren's score and take 3 off it, that's how far Mikey needs to make up in the next 10 races. And Force India have done a great job. They've got 2 podiums this season, out of nowhere, practically. They got a podium at Monaco. Like, I mean, for the car that statistically its first ever podium was at Spa and can only do low downforce tracks, I thought that was a bloody good result.
Wasn't it the...
It was slightly the wet weather, which would help with Perez, because we all know how good he is in the wet.
Yeah.
But...
Wait, how...
Go on.
That field was spread out that race, wasn't it?
It was all over the place. Alonso finished 5th, yeah.
Rosberg didn't finish that well.
No, we didn't, to be fair, because he can't drive in the rain.
He can't drive whatsoever.
Well, he can drive fast, but he just can't fight or drive in the rain.
We'll come to that in a bit. We'll come to that in a bit.
Come Mercedes working at fucking fresh.
Right, let's get the fuck out. It's like the size of the Bible, just like... Right,
But
Page 1, chapter 1, verse 1.
No, I'm going to talk about Rosberg in a bit, actually, for Mercedes, so it's going to be hilarious when you hear what I've got to say. I think Force India have done a good job this season, considering the budget that they've got, and they were almost looked at for Aston Martin last season, so you can tell they've got a good infrastructure. They might not have the full budget that maybe to take them to the next level.
I'd rather them be Aston Martin than Force India.
Yeah, same, to be honest.
Yeah, but
Just shut up and let them talk.
I know.
Saves you.
I know, exactly.
Hey, that's my job. No one else's. So be quiet, you.
I think they've got a good infrastructure there. What can they do for next season?
Just keep it up.
Well, to be fair, they've already started. They were the first team to change to the 2017 car to start work on it.
Already?
Oh, they did it
Why
ages.
teams do that, you know. They quit halfway through the season to focus on.
But the thing is, Force India brought up this massive upgrade for Spain, and they're still trying to figure it out. So once they've fully optimised it, they'll be alright. They're already proven that at some tracks they're quicker than Williams, who they're now in a direct fight against. Speaking of Williams, who are in fourth, Williams are only 15 points in front of Force India.
I don't know how.
If Williams scored a podium this season, I don't think they have they?
They've not done a single.
But like Force India, they've changed already over to the 2017 car.
Not surprised.
And, you know, for sure, Williams have not performed as well as they should have. You know, Bottas this season has been... No, he's probably been the better of the two Williams drivers. Because let's be honest, I think we're all pretty confident that Massa's not going to be there next season.
I hope not.
And I really hope not, because if there's anyone on the grid that I don't like the most, it's him. I don't like Massa. Nothing wrong against the guy, I just don't like him.
I'd say I hate Gutierrez. Oh, hate's a strong word, but I dislike Gutierrez more.
Gutierrez is a special kind of snowflake who we separate into a different category.
Isn't there links of Bolton going to Williams?
There's been very strong links, but there's also Nasser and there's also Perez to contend with. And Williams, again, are another team like Force India that don't have the biggest budget in the world. It depends what Button's salary would be if he went to Williams.
They need someone.
It'd be a perfect match. Not just for the nostalgia of get off your phone.
Getting back to the team start.
But like...
I'll get me store ready.
Oh, okay. But... Oh, we're quite a while away from that, mate.
Yeah, but if I get it ready now, I don't have to.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I think it'd be a great story for, you know, nostalgia, Button going back to the first team he ever drove for and blah, blah,
Which
blah.
is why I just said it.
But, yeah, no, that's just reiterating your point. But, he would be the best development driver for them.
He's gone McLaren through such tough times.
Him and Alonso.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Alonso's still the best driver on the grid. Let's not forget that.
But Button got him through the toughest part.
Arguably, the last 5 years, Button has been the best McLaren driver. Not that they've ever had in terms of raw pace, but in terms of
fast.
Mika Häkkinen's the best McLaren driver in
by far.
history. But in terms of developments and being on the media side, he can work commercially. Button would be great for Williams. The amount of stuff, because he does everything.
He's fun in all the interviews. That's something you.
Yeah, and Williams could do with a bit more budget coming in, which would be great for them. But sure, Williams have had a crap year. But to be fair, if they're already concentrating on 2017, two dark horses to watch out for next season. Those two teams, Williams, Force India. And don't forget McLaren, they're also there too. Now, let's talk about the prancing... No, let's talk about the limp horse.
The limping horse.
The limping horse of Ferrari now.
Three-legged horse.
What the hell happened in the last race? Because I didn't get to watch it. And I read on Facebook that Vettel was not happy.
Let me explain to you what Ferrari has been this season.
Fucking dreadful.
That is true, but I'm going to do it in I'm going to do it in a timeline. Australia comes round. They arguably have almost the quickest car, not as quick as Merckx for sure, and that continues to about.
The next race.
Let's go from Australia to Barcelona for sure. They had the second best car on the grid. They were so close to Mercedes, but the race strategy department were about as bad as Project Cars' management.
Yeah.
So They lost the race in Australia. They lost the race in Spain.
That was awful.
You know, they messed up on a number of occasions, and
Every time.
and in fact, every race they have made a mistake somewhere. They should have had a podium at Monaco, and they balls that up with Vettel in the rain.
Budapest, they fucked that up as well.
Budapest, they messed up. They've messed up on that side. So, what about the car? Well, the car is actually not a bad car. When it came out, as I said, second best car on the grid. However, have a guess how many upgrades have been on the car in terms of major upgrades since Spain? None. There have been no developments on the car on that side. Now, for anyone
So what the fuck have they been doing?
I'm going to get to it. The thing with it is, James Allison, who was their technical director, who has now left. Yeah, he left. His wife passed away at the start of the season. Now, Ferrari being Ferrari, obviously showed sympathy and gave him time off and everything. But he's got 3 kids at home. So what any normal management team would have done is not bring the kids to work. They'd have gone, we will allow you to develop the car when we need you to develop the car, and then all the other times you go home and be with your family because you need to be a dad to your kids. What they did, however, was do none of that and kept him away from his kids so they could develop the car for next year. Now, Ferrari have effectively screwed themselves over because James Allison said, I need to be there for my kids because the mum's just passed away. So he's left, and they've brought in-house one of the other directors who was working under James Allison. Now, this is the problem. James Allison was already partway through designing the car for 2017.
He didn't tell anybody else about it.
No, he did. But the problem is, as soon as you bring in a new technical director, one, they're not going to have the same amount of input. Even if they have the same design, they're still not going to know exactly where they need to improve the car, because obviously James Allison's gone. Or this new director could go, I don't like that idea, I might change it. So then, if he changes it, that means the car for 2017 is not going to be as good as it should be. Either way. So they're already on the back foot for 2017. They could have started at the start of the year for 2017 and they'd still be on the back foot, because it takes about 15 months really to get a general idea of what the car should be like optimised. They've lost out there, and then the in-management is crumbling apart. Sergio Mascioni, who's the big CEO, is a knobhead.
Oh yeah, we all know
He's
that.
an ultimate knobhead, because he sets big targets, but he doesn't have a fucking clue what the hell the technical directors are doing. And he brings it on himself to put... He goes to the departments and sees what to do, and he tries to influence them. That seems like good management. But when Ferrari were winning back with Schumacher, they had Rory Byrne, Ross Brawn, Schumacher, and Jean Todt. Jean Todt separated the political side of things with Sergio Mascioni, the previous CEO, and Luca de Montezemolo, and then he left Ross Brawn and Rory Byrne to do the car. When that went, and John Todd went off to the FIA, who's still officially the worst FIA director in the world, they lost that intimate partnership, that separation. And now, he's firing, Sergio Mascioni, the CEO, is now firing everyone who's not performing. Which makes no sense, because if you want to improve, you've got to keep stability. Am I right in saying that? Does that sound logical to you?
You
keep someone on for a couple of years to develop the car. If they're not improving, then you fire them.
Yes.
But now, Ferrari, and
it was like with McLaren, and what was their technical director? Who got...
Martin Whitmarsh.
Yeah.
He was alright.
He got given a few years and then he got
the
job.
He got canned from the job. It wasn't his fault for 2013, but they got rid of him anyway. They messed up Ferrari. Sergio Macchioni is effectively the worst Ferrari CEO in the history of the land. He owns Fiat as well, which doesn't help.
He should be kept separate, like in a cage.
And that's what... No, they should be kept... The political side and the racing side should be kept separate, but the problem is they haven't got someone in the middle. Do you know who the perfect person would be to separate that and bring Ferrari back to its glory years?
Jean Todt?
No, it can't be Jean Todt because he's the FIA now. They won't do that. There's only one man on the grid who could do it, who's got the experience of bringing a team in the doldrums up to the greatness.
Jordan?
No, he's too old. He doesn't want to go back. One man on the grid, Eric Boulier. He's the only one who can do it because he brought...
The guys in McLaren.
Who's in McLaren at the minute. What did I say before? He's brought the team cohesively together. He did it at Lotus.
I know.
And how good was Lotus?
They were getting podiums.
They were getting podiums and race victories with Kimi Raikkonen and Roman Grosjean. He'd single-handedly turned Grosjean's career around after that crash in Belgium.
Oh my god, that was bad.
Exactly.
And the Monaco Grand Prix.
If Ferrari have any ambition of winning in the next few years, as Mikey's still on his phone.
I'm actually looking at a story. I'm investigating something.
Fair enough. If you take it collectively, if Ferrari want any ambition of winning in the next few years, they need to get Boullier. If they don't, they're not going to win. And dare I say it, till 2019 at the minimum.
They won't with a full stop.
Vettel will get pissed off, and then
Rakkonen's just.
And he'll have nowhere to go.
Nope.
In terms of driver grid. No one will take him, so he'll lose his career. They also made a mistake keeping Raikkonen.
Don't know why the hell they did that.
Why they did that? There's some great drivers on the grid who they could have picked, i.e. Roman Grosjean. Why they didn't pick him, I don't know. But they want a 1-2, and that's the problem with Ferrari. They've always had this stupid idea of having a number 1 driver and number 2 driver. It worked with Schumacher and Barrichello, and Schumacher and Eddie Irvine. It worked back then.
And Barrichello got pissed off and left.
Well, no, Barrichello was sort of forced out the door.
That's right. Oh.
It's 50-50, yeah, you're right. It won't work now, because Raikkonen is not quick enough. I love Raikkonen, don't get me wrong, I love Kimi, but he is not quick enough. He's too slow, I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but...
Right, move on to the next thing.
It'd be Red Bull.
Verstappen! Hey! Race win in his first race in Red Bull.
And you said he'd be shit.
Last year I did.
You still said it.
I know I was wrong.
You were both wrong, but that aside...
He's been fucking brilliant.
To be fair, Red Bull now looks like it's on the most rosy path in history. They've got the relationship back with Renault. Renault are happy again, and they're going to be supplying Toro Rosso next season for engines, I think.
Good luck to them.
They'll have a good engine next season because engine development tokens are being abolished completely, so they're allowed to develop as much as they want now.
Wait, why the hell did they bring it in then? They brought the tokens in.
Because the FIA are the most knee-jerk company in the history of the planet.
So they've taken the radio messages ban off, so you can radio message.
Yeah.
Now they've taken the tokens off. So
that was already done last year, but it was implemented for 2017.
So you can develop your engine no matter however fast you want.
The teams can, yes, but they've got a cost cap, so it kind of makes sense.
That's a good thing, actually.
Yeah, they've got a cost cap. They can't.
So Honda has a chance.
Honda can catch up.
Renault can catch up.
Renault can catch up. The thing
Mercedes
is,
can dominate again.
Mercedes can't do any more, really. They can only investigate now with fuel technologies because they've sort of reached almost the limit of their engine. As you've seen with all the reliability issues, the more you try and push, the less reliable it will be. Red Bull at the minute, despite the chaotic start of the season they had with the driver change and everything, have actually now sat there and gone, we're now the second best team.
You got Ricciardo.
Their infrastructure's back together. They've got a Aston Martin project coming up on the road side of things with Adrian Newey, which is his boyhood dream. Mm-hmm. They've got 2 bloody quick drivers. One still, in my opinion, yet to prove himself. But I still think he does.
Who's Verstappen?
Verstappen. He's only been in a season and a half. Let's see, a couple of years. Ricciardo's been here for a long time.
And he's still quick.
And he's, to me, Ricciardo should be a future champion. Whether he will be, I don't know. But he has all the potential.
I still can't believe the face he pulled at Monaco. The first time I've ever seen him angry.
Well, he had every right to do so.
I don't know.
And
that was a crap pit stop, that was.
It wasn't even a pit stop. He just showed up to an empty box.
Exactly.
It was terrible. But
I think I would have just straight off. Oh, you're not here, bye bye.
I honestly think Red Bull have got a really good chance.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't win again. Mercedes can't be that dominant.
I don't know. The problem with Red Bull is what are the tracks that are coming up there? Red Bull could actually Singapore, yeah, okay. But the only reason
Russia.
Russia's already been.
Oh shit, yeah. I think.
How could Red Bull beat friggin' Mercedes around Russia?
Final sector. Compared to the
big long straight.
Where else? There's more than Singapore. There's another close circuit apart from Singapore.
I'm trying to think on the calendar, and I can't think of any tracks really that I would say.
Suzuka.
First two sectors, yeah. I suppose Suzuka's probably arguably the best chance, and if it's wet weather, they'll win.
Verstappen did it against Rosberg and Britain.
Actually, you know what? If there's any wet weather,
yes,
Red Bull will win because their car's better than Merck's in the wet for sure. they've had a good season so far. You know, they're now second in the championship by 14 points ahead of Ferrari. Got a nice. I think they've already started developing 2017. I'm not sure. My worry is, I don't know who's designing that car because Newey's not doing it anymore. So
he didn't design this one either, did he?
He did it in part, so it's still his influence. So
maybe they should have just kept that aside. You know, him influencing bits.
he didn't want to do it anymore. He wanted to do. If your childhood dream was to design a road car with a Aston Martin, I think you'd pick that over designing an F1 car, which he's been doing for like 20, 30 years.
Do something he's good at, or do something he could fuck up on.
No, he won't mess it up with Aston Martin. That'll be a good car. I guarantee that Aston Martin will be bloody quick.
Yeah. Right, what team's next?
Well, there's only one team left on the grid.
Mercedes.
What a shocking season this has been.
Oh, it's been a fucking crash test.
Oh yeah, it's been hilarious.
Please enter the Pope, Jack Millington I, and his revered bishops, Michael of Berkonian and Matthew of
Do you
Greasby.
mean Beckham?
Why are you talking?
Oh, it's my piss thing.
Ah,
I'm saying
okay.
this time. Bring thy forth thy Bible of shit of Mercedes-Benz
I hate Mercedes.
in the name of the wolf, the other one, and, well, the other one.
Not louder, he's cool.
So, yeah,
Well,
Not
totes.
louder, we like
That's the
that.
only one I can fucking handle. Wolf's pissing me off.
Well, Wolf is a businessman.
I know. And I hate businessmen. Man.
Yeah,
You hate everyone.
yeah, that's true. Let's just
Who
get
are we
to
going
the
to rip
chase.
into first?
There's so many things. You know, Hamilton leads the championship, deservedly so. Let's be honest, he's the best. He's the best driver out of the two.
Hey, yeah, finally.
I've always said he's the quicker driver. I've never said he hasn't. I just don't like him. I don't like him, Matty. I won't deny he's the better driver of the two. I will say that hand on heart. Hamilton, he's not the quickest driver on the grid. That's Alonso. But for me, Hamilton is the better driver. I just want Rosberg to win because it makes change. It'd be just a little bit different.
I honestly want Hamilton to match Vettel's record for championships.
Really?
Yeah.
How come? No, I'm not having a go at it. I'm just wondering why.
I just want to see Hamilton get more champions. Maybe because I'm going on British. Hey. I'm waving the British flag.
I mean,
To be honest with you, they only come, waving it right now, to be honest with you.
the thing is, a lot of British.
I'm getting fed up with it, though, because it's just, either of them two, it's just like,
Yeah, but I like
it's,
the
bore-
fact
it's boring then, because, you want someone to
We want someone to step up to the plate and give it a
Yeah.
bloody good bash. I know.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'd love to see it if Vettel came.
Even though
and
they were-
Only because they weren't there. When the only time that Ferrari have really, ideally, the only team that have actually challenged him on pure pace. Ricciardo all by himself at Monaco. Don't care what anyone says.
Yep.
But
Ooh.
go on.
Verstappen and Rosberg and Silverstone.
Yeah.
That was pure pace. Verstappen's part anyway. I mean,
Was it?
Yeah,
Was it?
going through the.
Didn't Rosberg have a problem? Silverstone, I'm sure he did.
That was way after the freaking overtake. That was like 10, 20 laps after.
I don't know.
Verstappen overtook him.
Do you know the problem is I can't remember Silverstone Grand Prix because it was that dull this year. So
I was there.
you enjoyed it. That's the main thing.
I mean, the crowd when Verstappen overtook Rosberg was fucking brilliant. But to overtake him through Maggots and Beckett and then get him down the straight in a Red Bull.
You know, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong. Like Rosberg, for some bizarre reason, has just fallen apart. You know, he had a
50-point lead.
43-point lead. I've never seen that happen in an F1 champ. No one. It would make history. I think it would make history the biggest points lead if you take all the other points and put them into the 25-point thing. I think I'm right in saying it probably is the biggest point lead in F1 history to have blown away a championship lead if he does. Let's not forget. Not this big. It was only 14 when it was in 2014. 14 points.
Thought, Hamilton had the shit car the first two races. Engines.
Well, it was more than a couple of races. It was the first 4. He had problems with every race.
True. And then he came back. Then he had more issues. Now he's come back again.
Mm-hmm.
So he's done 2 comebacks in one season and now he's leading.
Now he's leading, exactly. But the thing is, I do genuinely sit there and I'm just like, God, Rosberg, why am I supporting you? Like, I do genuinely sit there and think, why do I support you? But at the same time, I don't like Hamilton, so that's why I'm supporting him.
Agreed. Hamilton's behaviour when he doesn't win or doesn't come pole.
They both do it though. They're like do you know what? They're like kids, and
You know, he said he was researching. He's on Tinder.
I know he's been on Tinder. I've seen him. He doesn't know. I can see in the reflection of his glasses. He's been on Tinder. I've seen him like this. I was just saying, you know what? Swipe right on beds. Go on, swipe right on beds. Yeah. That's on the lock screen, obviously. I'm not owning anything.
No, I've actually just been researching.
I saw the girl on the bench.
Yeah, we seen Mikey.
What bench are you on about?
Anyhow, I think this season.
No, but they're literally like twins. You can like with racing, you can only give it the prize to one of them. The other one goes all gloomy. And he has a kick off over at him for 2 weeks, and then this one starts moaning because that one's kicking off at him for 2 weeks.
Can I just put what you? I'm not trying to interrupt your point. It's what I'm trying to say is take the context of it. They've been rivals for years, like since go-karts, you know. And Mercedes has effectively ruined their friendship. Let's be honest. And
hey, Mike, it's like you and me racing for Mercedes, and then we're not friends anymore.
Yeah.
Imagine that. No KFC for us anymore.
So just buy me a fucking KFC as well.
Exactly, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I sat there and I look at the two of them, and to a degree, Mikey, you're actually right. They're both exactly the same. They both whinge.
They're both fast.
But it's because
he crashed into me, but you went into me first.
In the last few races since Australia, it's become beautiful. I love this. Right after Rosberg's crashing in Austria,
that was a major fuck up.
That was it. The first time it happened, you're like, all right, you messed up, you can forgive it. But then to do it to Verstappen, and that's the best thing I've ever seen. I sat there and went,
wait, when was it Verstappen?
Didn't he tried
to send him wide.
At Hockenheim, he was going down to the hairpin, and he overtook. He dived him. It would have been a great overtake, but
he didn't turn the wheel.
he said, I was full lock, and I was like, you were full lock once you'd pushed him off the track. And I sat there and I went, you know what, it's the first time for years I've seen a villain in F1. And I thought, and I sat there and I went, that's what F1 needs, someone that people don't like. But, and I'll say this to all the Hamilton fanboys that are on Facebook, because this pisses me off. No, you're not really a fanboy because you like Vettel more than Hamilton. Well, that was the case. Yeah. A lot of people said, oh, well, you can't be forcing a driver off the road. You can't be forcing
America.
Who did this in 1997? Got disqualified from the World Championship for driving into Jacques Villeneuve on purpose. Michael Schumacher. History looks back and they go, oh, well, he was a great driver and a champion.
You don't see the mistakes though, do they?
But they don't see the mistakes, do they? That's the thing. And you sat there, it's like, if you're going to criticise someone for doing the same... If you're going to do... Yeah, exactly. If you're going to criticise someone, you've got to criticise someone for doing the same thing who's a great driver.
It's like Ayrton Senna and Prost who took each other off.
Senna did it in Formula 3. There's a frigging film about it.
Senna did it to win the fucking world championship.
He did it to win. He took him out, and everyone goes, "Oh, Senna's a great driver." He crashed. Oh well, Rosberg does it, but that's really bad. And that's back in the time when safety was appalling compared to now.
Do you know what's funny though? You say that. Jeremy Clarkson did a film on it for Tom King.
Yeah.
And he's actually, watch this. If you look carefully, you can see Senna doesn't...
All Senna's got to do... In that film, Senna just takes Martin Brundle off the track. By the way, that film is available, I think it's going to be coming on DVD soon. Senna versus Brundle, the F3 Championship.
No, the Prost one? When he takes him out, it's Silverstone.
I've seen that.
I'm telling Matty.
Formula 3 World Championship. Brundle versus Senna. It's one of the best stories in lower category racing in the history.
I didn't even know they had a fucking rivalry.
Oh god, it was big. It was huge. It was like the Senna Prost, but on F3 level.
Was it like James Hunt and Niki Lauda?
It was a bit after that.
No, but was it like that sort of?
No, because Brundle had a lot of respect for. They both had a lot of respect for each other, but
no, but so did Lauda after a bit, obviously, but.
It was great. It's an amazing story. When it comes onto DVD, I'll let everyone know because it's gonna be. I can't wait to see it visualised.
Wait, is it like the documentary, the Senna movie, or?
In a way, yeah.
I did like that movie. That was good.
I didn't
But
see
Wait,
that.
back to Mercedes.
Let's be honest.
Let me get the Bible. What page we on for, chaps? Page
Coming to the end.
Chapter 66.
of page 34, verse 6.
We all want Mercedes to crash and burn in the best way possible.
That's it.
I want Hamilton to win this championship.
And that's
on my
it.
heart, and then that's it.
I don't want him to win anymore because then a lot of people would start comparing him to the two ultimate greats. Schumacher, who won it 7 times, and Fangio, who, and I don't care what anyone says, is the best driver in F1 history. If he ends up going to 5 championships, there is a case in point for him saying that he's one of the best drivers in the history of F1, for sure.
But
he's never been in a crap car. That's why I don't like him. Because he's never been in a crap car.
McLaren was crap for a while when he was in there.
No.
He had half a season of a crap car.
Not
And it proved to me then that he wasn't the complete driver that everyone thought he was. Because he got lapped by Button at the Spanish Grand Prix when Button was
In the same
blasting off in the Brawn.
That Brawn was brilliant.
And that Brawn was that car was a one of a kind. You'll never see it again.
That was a Virgin Media one.
No, Virgin was sponsoring it. It wasn't part
No,
of the
that's
team.
what I'm saying. It was.
That Brawn was fucking quick. I remember that season.
I think we've just said that like twice.
He's just recalculated his
brain. The brain just like ding, 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 ding. The car was blue, really. Yeah.
We look towards 2017 for F1. By the way, there is no weird news this week because it's basically motorsport games and a review.
Actually, I've got interest.
Oh, all right. Well, we can
do our story.
This will probably be a big podcast then, because I was.
We've done an hour in F1.
I was anticipating this being a big
Seriously?
podcast. Yeah.
Are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
And we haven't even come to the game.
We haven't even got to WRC yet.
You fucking what? Can I have a pillow? I could fall asleep.
No, give him the orange ones. Give him that one.
The shit one, yeah, great.
Oh, I'll take it away from you then. Yeah, shut your face then.
Hey, can we have a pause to go and get a drink?
Yeah, intermission. Jamaica, get your fuck out of my face.
We will do in a minute.
Fucking intermission break and everything, yeah. Might catch up on a sleep.
We can have a little break, I don't mind, if you want. Do you want a drink or?
Yeah, I want to do the elevator music first.
It's the SD. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah, so we're now back after drinks and stuff. We're gonna move it on from F1 to probably a sport that's trying to find its mojo and arguably has probably been the most exciting sport this year. WRC. Next season, obviously, big new rule changes similar to that of F1, except for the fact that F1's rule changes are made by a bunch of people who haven't got a clue what they're doing, and WRC rules are made by a bunch of people that actually do know what they're doing for the change. For anyone that's wondering what the regulations are for next season, more power in the cars, so going up from about 300 horsepower to about 380.
So you say 380 is like, wow.
It does sound. You would think that, but then when you add in the fact that the cars are going to be lighter, they're going to be more aggressive bodywork, more downforce, etc., and you're almost harking back to the days of Group B when the cars were absolutely mental. And what we're going to look at are the 5 teams, obviously, that are taking part next season. Start with Mikey's Japanese fanatic boys over at the Toyota crew. They've been testing for what? Get off the phone! It's off the phone! What are you doing, man?
Listening.
Great.
Great. Fucking great.
Matty Morris.
But
needs a phone to listen. Hello? This is right there. I can't hear you. Speak up.
yeah, the Toyota are going to be using the Yaris for next season, and it's probably looking like the smallest of the 5 WRC cars that they're going to be using. So far they've been doing testing with the great Tommy Mäkinen, 4-time World Rally Champion. They haven't got their drivers as of yet. In fact, a lot of the teams haven't got their drivers as of yet. But they've been looking the same direction of a few established drivers. So, like Tanak, who's been driving very well lately.
What about me?
He's signed up to Citroen. Juho Hannanen probably going to have a drive as well because he's been testing the car for the last year and a half as well. So there's a number of places to go for Toyota, but the problem is their technical director left halfway through the project the other week, so it's a little bit worrying when a technical director leaves the project, especially for a new car and for such a big change that's coming next year.
Just like F1.
Just like F1, exactly. But the difference is Toyota are spearheaded by Tommy Mäkinen, and his experience will be invaluable. It'll be really good. Mikey, you like Toyota. I know you're excited for Toyota to be in WRC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good...
Like, that's the thing with the likes of these Japanese manufacturers. They don't get me wrong, everyone does do a lot of hard work in all manufacturers. I just like it when you see sort of the Japanese, like, they go over the top, but they do it so well. It's
nice to see Toyota back in the WRC, you know, because they have been in...
Because last time was the Corolla, and
Corolla
they got banned for an illegal turbo, didn't they?
That was a bit stupid. The drivers didn't know about it, but the team did, knowingly. But let's not forget Toyota have got a big presence in the WRC in the past. They've won championships with the Celica as well. You know, the Corolla was the best car of the year, but...
Sorry, it was the Celica?
It was Celica then the Corolla as well. Corolla was the one that they got banned for, you were right.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. The Corolla, when they came back the final year, they should have won that championship, and then Carlos Sainz's engine blew up 500 metres away from the line. Imagine doing a whole 500 metres from the line, his engine blew up and he lost the championship by a point.
That's destiny.
That is heartbreaking, is what that is.
That's destiny.
All I'll ever remember is Bruno Thierry's bloody post-race interview, because he was driving Ford at the time. He go, 300 metres, you could walk that distance, and he was just like, but you haven't lost the championship. No, I've only won one rally. It's brilliant though. Obviously the other team that's re-entering the WRC, only doing a part-time campaign this year, is Citroen. They've already got their one driver signed up, which is Chris Meek. Yeah, I'm happy. Also, Sport Runner featured the other day saying he's probably the main man who could beat Ogier to the title next year. I honestly can't see why not.
Yeah, Toyota.
In terms of driver. Because a driver makes up a lot of the difference in a WRC car. It's not really like F1 where it's more the car than it is the driver.
So.
Get off your phone! Give me your phone.
Nope. Give me the food.
No. Take his food.
You wait, I saw Mikey. Help!
Get off the phone.
Get off the phone and he'll get off you.
Get off the phone or the food.
Good.
Anyway, I've got Matty's food, so you've been warned now. I will eat food if you try and attack me. I am warning you.
And he'll give me food.
I am warning you.
Come on.
No.
Oh.
Matty has to be good now.
Oh boy, lie down.
But for 2016
Right.
anyway.
Down. Thank you.
That weren't me. Yeah, stop making fucking noise.
Calm it down, you.
Anyway.
Just shut this over here.
No, it won't make a blind bit of difference. Now, as I was saying about Citroen, they've got Chris Meek signed up, and he's looking like arguably being one of the few drivers that can actually hold a candle to Ogier. And is he a title contender? Yeah, he should. Of course he is. He's won 2 rallies this season in a bit part campaign. But on the other hand,
Here you go, Marty.
you know, you look at Chris Meek. He's not happy with you, so put that back up there. Anyway, leave him alone. For that, you know, you got Citroen, but you look at who were the other drivers who could sign for Citroen. Stefan Lefebvre, who's been within the team for a number of years now, since the junior WRC days. You've got Craig Breen, who took his first podium last week, who I was talking about, and Yves Maton, who's the racing director for Citroen, has said he hopes to, by the end of the month, he'll have that list narrowed down from 10 potential drivers to 4 to 5 who he's going to pick for one of the drives in his car next season to partner Chris Meek. There could be 3 cars for the Citroen team next season, so it's interesting.
I think you only have one.
No, you can have 3. Well, in fact, to be fair, you can have as many as you like, but they have to be registered for like different types of things. So Volkswagen have got 3 drivers, but they've got 2 teams.
Huh.
Also, now we come on to the 3 teams that are still currently in contesting all the rounds of this season. Let's go with Hyundai. They've got they've been testing this season. They've got a rally win this season with Hayden Paddon.
Yeah.
And he's one of their drivers for next season. They still haven't got a long-term contract for anyone else though, so Neuville, Kevin Abring, Danny Sordo, they're not signed down to contracts yet. But we know Hayden Paddon, the Kiwi driver, he will be there next season. They've been testing their car since about April, May time. They were like the second team this season to get the car ready. The test has been going well. They've been using the i20, the 3-door model, I think it is, that they're using next season. Could be a good car, because Hyundai have come back and they've been, well, better than the first time they were in the WRC, put it that way. They've won 2 rallies, I think. Yeah, Neuville won in Germany. Might be 3, I'm not sure.
Spain? Or was it Portugal?
Oh, Hayden won in Argentina. 2014 he won. They might have won one last year, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Let's say 2.
Yeah, let's say for 2 for all intents and purposes. They're in a good position, they've got a solid foundation to build upon from the car that they've got this year, so be interesting to see what happens with them next season. Especially with Paddon, who's a great driver. I really like Paddon. Quite voiceful of his opinions. Him and Chris Meek are the only 2 people that can actually outspeak Sebastian Ogier, who basically complains about everything. So, nice to see someone with a bit of fighting spirit other than just one person for the change. You've also got M Sport, who've only just the other week have started testing their full Fiesta RS that they're going to be using next season. For anyone that knows, they haven't got a clue what Fiesta they're going to be using, because Ford haven't even put the Ford car that it's supposed to be based off hasn't even been announced yet. So we don't know whether it's going to be a 3-door or a 5-door Fiesta that they're going to be using, but it will be an RS Fiesta.
They'd use a 3-door.
You think that, but to be fair, sometimes a longer car in loose gravel rallies gives more balance and traction.
I mean, like the Subaru.
Well, Subaru was quite long, yeah. Mitsubishi was quite a long car. Skoda's was huge with the Octavia. So...
Because I'm thinking if you have less doors, you have less weight, so you go a lot quicker.
On tarmac, it's an advantage, for sure.
Depends on how the car's set up and
Yeah.
Huh.
And like I said, the driver makes the biggest difference. We know that Eric Camilli will be driving one of the M Sport cars next season. Beyond that, we're not sure because of a number of different things. But M Sport could have a good car for next season. I'm looking forward to seeing how they get on, because obviously I like Ford. They are my favourite team in the WRC. Not a favourite driver, but my favourite team.
So your favourite manufacturer?
Favourite manufacturer? Well, they're not a manufacturer because it's not Ford's team. It's just M Sport.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get you.
And obviously I've been tainted towards the dark side.
You're not Volkswagen, are you?
I like Ford and...
Ford bloke. And obviously we've got Volkswagen, who've been sort of testing half and half. Some of their parts of the 2017 car on the car that they've been using this year. They've been testing most of the 2017 parts from last year. Obviously now, this season, they've got the 2017 car. They started testing it about a month ago. And they're still keeping the 3 drivers that they've had for the last few years. So that's Ogier, Latvala and Mikkelsen. And who'd put it past them to winning again? Especially with Ogier, he's a bloody good driver. It doesn't matter what anyone says about him. He might be a bit of a whinge bag, but he's still a bloody good driver. And it'd be interesting to see. I think it's quite strange how like F1 and WRC have changed in the last couple of years just to tie it all in. F1 back in 2009, 2010 was probably the height really of its popularity rather. 500, 600 odd million people tuning in every race.
I'd say the older generation.
Well, it's more revered, but there's more people watching it. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm saying the late 90s, early 2000s.
That was the best period, but there weren't as many people watching. That's what I'm trying to say.
Still the best period, though.
Well, we've got different opinions about when the best period. I'd go even further back myself, but
Always the Hackney versus Shuey area.
I say Hunt versus Lauder.
I wasn't there to watch because I wasn't born. So
Exactly. But now F1 in 2017 is going into a period of uncertainty. They're making the cars wider. They're putting bigger tyres on, which is the only good thing of all of this.
even harder to overtake. Yay, that's all we need.
Increasing downforce through wings creates more dirty... I've said this before, I'll say it again, and for those that don't understand, I'll try and make it in as simple way as possible. The more downforce you have, the more dirty air you create. The more dirty air there is, the harder it is to overtake for the car behind. That's why DRS was made, so that it would aid overtaking.
And yet, it hasn't that much.
Well, imagine if we didn't have DRS.
Mercedes.
Yeah,
Mercedes.
And
They were saying that Mercedes versus Honda with DRS open doesn't really work, does it? Mercedes still goes.
Exactly. But the thing is, you look at the period for 2017 and everyone's like, oh, well, I don't know if this is going to work, we don't know if that's going to work. Amid falling viewers in F1 as well, which doesn't help.
Oh, what?
Yeah, the viewers are falling for F1. It's already been lost by a third in the last decade. A third of viewing is falling in
That's supposed to
F1.
get them change all the fucking rules every 10 seconds.
It was fine in 2013. Why they ever changed it, I don't know. But
Wait, is that
that's
just for
happening.
Britain or overall in
It's
general?
not
I look at my phone and I get attacked. You look on your phone and what?
No, but that's actually quite
and
funny.
to be fair, he shouldn't be on his phone, and that is annoying, but that is quite funny.
What?
Do you want to tell?
Yeah, quickly.
It's a quote from Betfred. Sky Sports News HQ breaking. Gary Neville rejoins Sky Sports as analyst and commentator. Jamie Carragher's basically shared it and put, for fuck's sake.
Anyhow,
Said,
you look at F1 next year. I mean, they've already backtracked on the Halo, which is actually the smartest move they could have done because
I don't see why they've done that.
it's not ready.
It's not.
I mean, I hate to say this, but it's true. No matter what you put in front of, if you'd have had the Halo or any sort of bulletproof screen or whatever you put on top of a
They'd
car,
still die if the car
it'd
exploded.
have still killed Bianchi. I don't care what anyone says. That impact was violent to have killed anyone in any car. It doesn't matter. Even if you're driving a Volvo, which is made of 20 fucking million tons of steel. But like,
you could crash that into a truck
Exactly.
and there'd be a scratch on the bodywork, yeah.
exactly. And it's, at least the FIA, the problem with the FIA is they're too, on the one hand, they're trying to,
knob.
they're too controlling. They're trying to control the regulations. But the thing is that Jean Todt is the most ineffective leader of the FIA in the history of the FIA. When Max Mosley was in charge, he had this ability to get the teams to do what he wanted. Now, admittedly, that sounds like a dictatorship, which it was, but
It worked.
things got done. Like, he brought in the regulations for more safety. The roll harnesses, the roll hoops at the top of the car. He made them more prominent and everything. He introduced the regulations for the tyres and all, the single tyre supplier, then there's 2 suppliers, and he brought it in and made everything right because he got the teams to agree with what he did. Jean Todt has no power. It's like he's just a figurehead of bullcrap.
Is it basically like a nursery teacher? She's all the teams of the kids.
Yeah.
She's trying to get control, and the kids like, ah! Like,
That's what it's like now. That's you know what? You spot on. Well done.
I'm on fire today.
No.
But that was perfect analogy what you've just done there. He cannot control it. And despite what happened with Max Mosley and all the things that happened to him, that cost cap thing, he never got the chance to implement it because obviously he got voted out amid all the sex scandal nonsense that he was up to. Not that I give it a toss, to be honest. But-
As long as he was getting lucky.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, with it being slightly Nazi themed, a bit worrying. But regardless, also his father had a bad name, his grandfather in the war or something, I think. He did something, I'm not sure.
What was his name? Marcus Mosley.
Max Mosley's grandfather, I think it
So
was.
we'll have a look.
Yeah.
We'll investigate.
But he controlled everything and it was perfect, and now it's falling apart.
Is he French?
Max Mosley?
No.
Oh, Jean Todt.
Yeah.
I think he is, isn't he? Yeah, he is.
What
yeah.
a fucking surprise.
He doesn't know what. I said at
The
the time.
French like to let everything
I said at the
develop,
time.
fuck itself over and not really jump into
I thought I was the one who would take the piss out of countries.
I said at the time it was a choice between Jean Todt and Ari Vatanen, and I backed Vatanen to the hilt, partly because WRC was in a crisis at the time, and this is my point trying to bring it back. In 2009, there were 2 manufacturers in the WRC. 2. Ford and Citroen. Look at it now. Next year, we're going to have 5 manufacturers. The costs have been brought down. The competition is more fun. Except the WRC hasn't been this exciting since Ford, Subaru, Peugeot, Mitsubishi, Skoda, Citroen, a Hyundai roller. This season alone, there's been 8 rounds and there's been 6 different winners. Meek's won 2, Ogier's won 2, and the rest have all won 1. Latvala, Padden, Neuville, and Mickelson.
Years ago, or 2-3 years ago, it was just VW.
Practically just VW, yeah. Look how it's changed now.
But
And that's partly because of the regulations. They thought, right, well, if we know that on loose gravel rallies that the leader is going to struggle, so what we're going to do is rather than have 1 day a lead, and we're going to make them do 2 days, so they suffer and they run in worse conditions compared to everyone because they're sweeping the road and making it better for the cars further back. And I just sat there and I thought, that's a brilliant idea, because now Ogier's not winning everything and all the other teams have got a chance. I'm telling you, next season I'm probably more likely to buy a WRC game than I am an F1 game. If it's actually any good. Put that in inverted commas.
That should be binned, not in your stand.
It's not actually a bad game.
It isn't.
It's actually not a bad game.
It's the only game
It's a very fun game. It's just flawed. Do you know what it was? Like I said at the time, it's like a project. It's like F1 2015. It's a stepping stone. You should see what they've done for WRC 6. Looks so much.
2015 was fun.
So was that?
It was not.
It was
Not
fun.
for you. It was fun.
I was winning.
Who the hell puts a fucking blue car in front of you so you can't see where the fucking road is on multiplayer?
It's a ghost.
It's a ghost. That's the way the WRC games have always been. Admittedly, the block was too thick. It should have faded.
Yeah.
Like it used to be in the old WRC
I'd
games.
go down straight thinking, right, it's a fuck on straight. Shit, I'm off the track.
Yeah, but you can't just blame a game because of one thing that you don't like.
I hated the game in general. The controls were
Matty,
just
you were
tricky.
winning.
Yeah, I agree. There were many things. It was a flawed game. F1 2015 was a flawed game.
It was not.
It was.
Bloody was. The launch date for F1 is officially, for me, the worst bloody online launch, aside from Drive Club, I've ever played. Worse than Diablo 3, which he'll testify for the fact that you know how bad Diablo 3 was.
Oh my god.
Because your brother played it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Multiplayer and F1, I agree the AI are a bit...
It's
wrong.
ridiculous.
Terrible.
Matty, I give up playing the campaign, like the career mode on it.
There is no career mode on it.
On F1.
Exactly, there's no career mode.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I was playing this button.
You don't...
I got to a point. I couldn't.
I
I
agree with you. I agree.
Than
I'm sure.
150 miles an hour.
Hang on.
Staying first.
I will say this much, because you had the difficulty turn down. What I will say is, the problem... You did?
You did.
You did have the difficulty turned down, don't lie. Don't lie.
Yeah.
It was really turned down. No wonder you were winning in a McLaren.
Oh,
Try coming to the world of expert mode, then you'll see what it's like. But seriously, I agree with you. But you're way too harsh on WRC 5. Because I've played it since, and I've found it really fun.
What's that rally game? That's fun. That was just the same.
That's also fun. But the thing is,
I like
Dirt. Do you know, Dirt is a very focused game, but do you know what the best rally game that's come out in the last year is?
Don't say
Neither of the two.
Don't say thingy.
Sebastian Loeb Rally Evo. It's the best rally game that's come out in this year.
can I just stop you a
It
minute?
is.
No, I'm not going to
No,
disagree.
You
When did Dirt Rally come on?
April 5th.
And that was what? 4 months ago?
Yeah.
And I quote, "This is the weirdest game I've ever played. It looks fucking shit."
WRC.
No.
You.
Let me continue.
He's right, actually,
It's
I
fucking
remember.
shit, it's boring.
What
You can
Dirt?
only do one thing on it.
On the review, you did an half slate Dirt.
You give it like a 4. And you've just sat there.
He didn't give it a 4, I can tell you what he gave it.
I'm
I
sure
feel
it
like
was
a
like
3 or something. I know it wasn't.
It wasn't a 3.
It was like a 5 or something.
I know it was better than WRC. I know that much.
But you've just but you were sitting there,
like slating the shit out of it.
Yeah,
And
but
then
it's
now
better than WRC.
You gave Dirt 7.
See,
but you still slated it, correct?
It did. You, to be fair, you both did, so you can't sit on.
No, I understand.
I
I'm not a
slated
big
the
fan
fact
of it.
that
Not a big fan of it.
what's it?
Go on.
Rallycross, that's the part I slated.
Yeah,
you actually
there are a lot of things that, to be fair, the points you made were perfectly fine. What I'm trying to say is just that you did slate it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it gives a different opinion.
I'm just saying myself.
You're a little bit more venomous. I try and see both sides.
I slated it, but it's still better than WRC. Which is just pure
I
crap.
agree. Dirt Rally is much better game. It's
For
probably it's the
rally-wise.
best. It's the best game of the three, but Sebastian Loeb's more fun. It's the most fun game, and to be fair, I own it. You can't really comment. To be fair, that is true. You can't really comment.
Yeah, I don't.
There's 15 different game modes on Sebastian Loeb Rally. There's only 5 on Dirt.
Three.
What do you mean? 3?
If you include the time trial mode and the online stuff.
It's not really. Yeah, but the online stuff's just.
That
basic
they
to
would
the
class that as. I'm only going from what they've said. They would class it as an online mode. They'd class that as separate.
More stuff to do on WRC then.
There's more stuff. There is an actual career mode. To be fair.
Well, same on Dirt.
Yeah, but
Which is actually quite fun.
Which is great. Yeah. Anyhow,
Off topic, where were we?
we were moving away. I'm going to let you two do your stories. Then we're going to go to Review Corner with Matty Morris. That's the new segment, by the way. You've got your own thing.
Yes!
Got Review Corner. I will also be
Take the
jumping in.
piss corner.
I will also be reviewing Suicide Squad with him, so
What do I
that'll be
get?
fun. You get the bed to sit on.
What segment do I get?
The thing is,
Or we can have this discussion.
I've been doing
later.
we'll have this discussion later. The thing is, he always reviews films, so it makes
It's the one
sense.
thing I get to do.
So, which one of you two are going to be doing the stories first?
Do you want the shit one to go first, mate? Right.
He needs his phone.
I'll go first.
He was pointing at his
I
phone.
was gonna charge.
I need the phone.
He needs the phone anyway for his story.
Oh, right.
Go on, you say your story while you give him my phone.
Right. Ever been to country abroad?
I have
I went
actually.
to Spain
I've been
when I was
to,
7.
Menorca, France, Holland, Turkey.
Okay. Different
Oh,
languages.
right, you've been to
Okay.
a number of countries.
Yeah, Ireland.
Just say yes.
Okay. Different languages.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Turkish.
Ever go on a
yes.
train
Yes.
while in the country?
As a 7-year-old, I can't remember.
Yes.
I don't think so. Don't think so. No.
Well, you know how the train announcements would be made in the fucking country's language, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would,
obviously.
Yeah.
Well, there's a company in Japan that's making an app, so it translates all the announcements made in Japanese,
Oh, into.
and it can turn into English, Spanish, and Korean. So far,
Can I just state
That's
the
awesome.
obvious here?
Go on. No,
Is it just for Japan? Or is
it's
it for any?
Is it? Well, hang on.
Because if it's for any country,
Let me
that-
rephrase your question. Is it being made just for Japan?
a new mobile app could make life easier for foreign tourists in Japan by
Okay.
turning out
interesting.
speaker announcements. It's
You
called a Motenashi Guide.
Can I just sorry to interject? I've said before, haven't I, when we did the business thing in account, how long did it take to learn Japanese for that guy? He'd still been learning it for 3 years and he wasn't fluent in it, wasn't he?
It takes
Yeah, exactly. It takes such a long time. So this app could actually be a godsend.
Oh yeah, for tourists especially.
Definitely.
Even if you have a basic learner, you can get through Japan. If. I mean, looking at all the announcements, it's all freaking kanji and harigana, I think it's called. It's
I
difficult
wouldn't
to
know.
read. I mean, this app would make it a lot easier.
It'd be great.
Apparently, it can.
What languages can it translate into? Do you know? Or
Hold on.
apart from English and Spanish and Korean?
For locals who have hearing difficulties, and 6 other languages, including English, Spanish, and Korean. It doesn't say they were free.
Okay, so I'd assume the most popular languages in the world. So
French.
English, Spanish, obviously Spanish. Next one, yeah, French I suppose would be one.
It's being
Russian,
tested in
probably
train
another.
stations.
Yeah,
And it's going to be trialled later this month at the bullet train stations in Tokyo.
nice.
So if you want to go to Japan, you want to try the trains, go now,
I
you can
would
hear all the
I
announcements.
would love to go on a bullet train. That'd be a dream. But is that your story done?
Yeah, it's just like a little text thing.
Over to Mikey. Move that bottle.
Right, chaps.
Cheers, bud.
Bill, as you've made it quite well known in the past on the podcast, you are a stallion, as you would call yourself. A half and half, you know what I mean?
I don't know where this is going.
Nigerian.
Oh, alright, yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, that would be true.
Well, have you heard the latest regarding the Nigerian under-17 football squad?
I think I know what you're going to say. I do
Hold
actually,
the bottle.
I do think I know what he's going to say.
This
here.
is going to be quite interesting.
Oh, no, it's not. You're taking forever just to introduce it.
A man's got to have some sort
Let him
of...
have his moments.
Nigeria's under-17 squad are wiped out as half are actually older than 17.
Yeah, I've seen it.
A staggering 26 members of Nigeria's under-17 failed an AIDS test carried out ahead of an African Cup of Nations qualifier.
Yeah.
A mandatory magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI,
MRI scan.
screening of the squad revealed almost half of were ineligible to play. Early last year, the Golden Eaglet, or as they are known, won the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in
The
Chile.
Golden Eagles? Is that what it said? It's not. No, it's Super Eagles. That website's wrong.
This is the BBC, Mel.
BBC, you got it wrong. Super.
Okay, the BBC. I'm going to call it the Eagles, alright? Just
Yeah.
as the unknown won the error. The players who failed the test have now been left the training camp. They were staying there ahead of tomorrow's Cup of Nations qualified against the match against neighbouring Niger. Okay. Which was still.
I'm only pronouncing it so you know how to say it and you don't get it wrong.
Many of those expected starting 11 passed the test.
Yeah.
Accusations of age cheating has blighted Nigeria's success at international age group tournaments in recent years. The former FA president for Nigeria, Kojo Williams, told the BBC, we use overage players for junior championships. I know that. Why not say it? It's the truth. We've always cheated. It's a fact.
Yeah, it's always been the way.
When you cheat, you deprived young stars that you're supposed to play in these competitions and their rights. In 2013, Nigeria were left without a key player, or without key players for the under-17 after failing the exact same test.
Can I just want to jump in here. Nigeria have a history for cheating and football in particular.
2013, 2009.
Can I just say for the record, 2013 they won the African Cup of Nations and then failed to qualify for 2015 and next year's, which starts in January. So that qualifier that they're doing for 2019, that qualifier that they're playing, whenever, this week I think. Because the qualifiers, you for the African Cup of Nations, you do a qualifying like group stage, but it enters you to the next two tournaments for the African Cup of Nations, which is once every 2 years. So if you win, you get the chance to take part. Say if you win this one, you will be entered for the 2019 and the 2021 African Cup of Nations. So you have to wait
tonight, by the way.
Oh.
MI.
Shit.
Yeah.
29 laps.
Oh.
Gaming news. Bing, ding, 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 ding. Some news that I'm about to announce on behalf of the S team, which you already know about because I told you the other day. Don't tell him because I'm going to do it and I'm going to piss him off now when I say this.
Huh?
If anything could sum up Matty Morris, I am looking to see if I can just...
Gaming news? What the hell's...
There's a lot of gaming news this
Well,
week.
gaming news, Matty, consists of news.
Shut up! I know that was a dumb question, but... what the hell's happened this week?
Ask for a dumb question.
Get a dumb
Get
answer.
a dumb answer.
Says you.
Yeah.
We give him all sorts of answers, not just dumb ones.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just opening my email box so I can just say what
Okay, in the meantime, we talk FIFA. What points are we up to on the thingy, by the way?
Still on 5, aren't we? Because we haven't picked since. Oh my god. No.
There can only be one.
For anyone that doesn't know what we're laughing at, basically Mikey just showed us a picture of a Pidgey and then a dead bird next to it. Because you know what Pokemon goes like.
Oh my god, that's classic.
Anyway,
Daddy won't let me catch both of them.
I've been sent an email.
Okay.
You know what I'm going to say.
You've been sent an email.
I've been sent an email, and it is as follows. Hello, Jatty and 53 Synopsis.
Your Pornhub account has been deleted. Sorry.
That's fine. As a valuable member of the FIFA 16 Pro Clubs, you have been invited to take part in the FIFA 17 Pro Clubs beta test starting from the 18th of August.
Have you got the email to show us?
Sorry, when was this sent to you?
This was sent on Wednesday.
Sorry, can I
see?
just check something?
I want to double check.
I've just gone off it. Hang on.
I'm going to check this on my own and watch it.
Let me just...
Yeah, same.
Because, like...
Right.
It's the S team.
Wrong one.
Star Wars!
Okay.
Look, I can't show you the email because I've gone off it, but that's what I've got. I've already registered, so I'm officially in for the beta.
How to apply for it?
You can't.
They can't. Well,
It's
you
random
can. You
people
can
select
try and you can sign up, but because I don't know why I always get picked for it. But
He paid them off, Mikey. He blew them. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Gargle.
Oh god, though. Where's the new probably gargling dick somewhere?
anyway, Rockstar have officially confirmed that they are working on new projects.
When was it? This week that's just gone, hasn't it?
What?
Yeah, this
Rockstar.
was-
They made
GTA.
Red Dead 2. They announced that, didn't they? Well, they didn't show the trailer because something bad happened that week.
Yeah, we don't. It's not been officially confirmed.
I
That's
don't
what I
think
said.
you've been chosen as well.
As a highly valued feature
Oh! I haven't even been
on
in.
PlayStation 4, you're invited to participate in the FIFA 17.
You better sign up because of the deadline.
When?
I don't know. It might have already been.
Shut up.
The same fair.
Have you checked your emails?
I'm on it now.
Have you checked
I
your?
love
Are you
people.
sure that's the account that you signed up for? Because you might have signed up with your PSN account instead.
This is my PSN account one.
Oh well, you're pooed.
It's
No.
going to take a while.
Yeah, Rockstar have confirmed that they are working on new projects. The word projects mean more than one. I'm suspect.
Is there a superhero one?
I don't know. Take-Two, who are their publishers, are going to be at Gamescom, so I'm expecting an announcement from them. And Gamescom is at the end of this month.
I want to play FIFA.
You want to play FIFA 17? Unfortunately, I am being joined by.
Why
Captain
are you
Red
joined by
Shirt.
the one guy who can't play?
Anyway, before you retaliate, don't you, big? You're better than that.
Like,
Better than that.
what are we on about here? Because I wasn't
You.
listening to bullshit from them.
I've got more gaming news. Battlefield 1 news. Wow.
Oof.
Sorry.
Amazon are doing it's an exclusive. It's called the Battlefield 1 Collector's Edition. It costs $130, right? You hear me, lads?
Mm-hmm.
Off your phone.
I'm signing up for the thing, you've got to
Oh,
understand.
okay. You aren't, so you have no excuse.
Fucking
The Battlefield Collector's Edition costs $130, which is 104 quid-ish on Amazon Prime. And it's exclusive to Amazon, yet it doesn't come with the game.
What?
Yeah. Amazon now lists a Battlefield 1 exclusive collector's edition that only includes a bunch of real-world and in-game items and not the full game itself. Obviously, Amazon is selling it separate, is obviously selling the game as well, but one of the listings, so if you just bought the game and then thought, oh, well, I can't get that bonus, but I'd really like the DLC and stuff that they're doing, then you can go to Amazon and buy it. Which I suppose in a way is a good idea, but on the other hand, that's really confusing. Because imagine if you paid £104 and go, Mummy, they really got rid of the game. There's no game. However, the good thing is Amazon are selling the game separately for with all the collector stuff for a tenner more.
A tenner more?
So effectively the game is a tenner if you buy the collector's edition.
Boy.
But you'd be paying 115 quid, so...
A bargain.
Good deal! But apparently the Amazon exclusive collector's edition includes a 1-foot statue, a steel bookcase, which is the norm, a cloth type poster, which seems quite cool, a deck of cards, Battlefield playing cards, a messenger pigeon tube that holds the codes for the DLC content, and this is a quote, and a patch.
Eye patch.
I'm assuming it's a patch for your arm, I'm assuming.
Not a patch for the game.
And not for like I was if it was a patch for the game. I want to rip off that would be.
I have to pay for the fucking patch.
Well, I suppose
Imagine that. You're stuck on the loading screen unless you get the patch.
There's also the deluxe version of the collector's edition, which includes all of the DLC packs, the themed weapons, the vehicles. That costs $220.
Okay, now.
Which
180
is,
quid.
yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's getting worse, isn't it? Quick update.
You know, soon it'll cost like 500 quid for fucking DLC.
It'll cost it'll be Call of Duty like Infinitive Warfare 42, and it will be $500 just for the add-ons, and the game will be like £1,000 separately. Good man. By the way, last 3 days of the beta, they open up the game completely, so get to play about with it for a bit. I'm not going to touch the journey though.
I reckon I'm going to leave that to the actual...
Yeah.
While you two play that, I will be in my bed.
When you come round to my house, I'll give you a little go with it.
Wait, what day?
18th
18th.
to the 27th. It's about 10 days normally.
Yes,
so.
everyone's out in that time.
Yeah, but you've also got exams.
Ah, for fuck's sake!
As do I, but mine are already done by then.
So you best get with that.
I haven't even started, you know. Honestly, I've been too busy with work and sleep, and I just can't be fucking lost.
And winning the...
So what?
wait, no.
Winning the cup is more important.
And winning the cup.
Yes.
Winning the cup.
I can't believe you liked out.
PSN was officially confirmed as being hacked, and it went down just as I'd played the friggin' through ball.
We did it just in time.
But like that, when you said that, I said, hurry up, PSN has been hacked. I was like
What actually happened since we won the cup?
We can now move on from the EA Shield to the next one up.
which is just
Master.
the EA Cup.
Oh no, I can't remember what it's called.
No, it goes EA Shield. Then like,
There's two
EA
others, and then
Cup.
there's the big cup at the end. But we've got to be in Division 1 or 2 to take part in it. So
in the next one.
we've got to be in a division above we are.
When's the next cup?
It's still on now, but today's the last day.
FIFA tonight. We're gonna smash it out.
We
then.
can't, we've got the race.
After it,
Stop next gen. FIFA.
Yeah, no, FIFA is a major priority.
I'll be watching Robot Wars, so you might as well do it.
Jack.
It's a family thing. It's a
Yeah.
family thing. I'm watching
Wait,
Robot Wars.
9 o'clock, dead on.
Oh, I'll be on FIFA at 9, yeah, for sure.
What time's the race finish?
You got a while.
We'll see.
I can't make it tonight, sorry guys.
I've got a cup to fight for.
Yeah.
Right, some more news. GT Sports are saying from Gran Turismo Sport, they're saying that the game will eventually have up to 500 cars in the future in forms of DLC, free content and stuff, which is a nice gesture because Gran Turismo is quite good for doing free stuff, so that'll be awesome to see. No Man's Sky news, which by the way comes out on, what's the date today? 7th, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 10th Wednesday it comes out. Anyone that's already playing the game will have some of their stuff being reset because there's a big update patch coming out on the Wednesday.
What's this for you?
No Man's Sky.
That's that, alright.
Some people have early access to the game.
All it is exploring planets, as if that's any fun.
As he goes in 2 weeks' time. Oh my god!
You know, I'll probably be the...
I will be getting No Man's Sky, everyone, at some point, but it won't be until next month. So stay tuned for a review on that.
Next payday. I got it!
Yeah. Matty, final piece of news. Matty.
Yes.
Ask me if there's any news on F1.
Is there any news on F1's new game?
Yeah, there is!
What is it?
Now. F1 obviously had a new trailer the other day.
Did it?
Yes, it did. And it was a trailer full of stuff. But in 2016, obviously in the career mode, you can select the character, helmet, race number, and you can also select the teammate that you start off with. So if you know what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be driving as Mana, and my teammate is going to be Rio Haryanto. Also, there's a couple other things, but one little thing.
Oh.
But one little thing that I've noticed, and it was quite quiet the way they released this, is one of the biggest requested features And a feature that I know for a fact that you two are going to particularly like. Also, and it is a little side note, and I don't think many people picked up on it. What the friggin' hell was that through the face?
Crap.
F1 2016 will feature a
Feature.
Feature. F1 2016 will feature a multiplayer championship. A game mode that allows up to 22 players to race against each other over the course of a season. Players can race as teammates or speed out as different teams. You will also be allowed to save the championship as you progress. So, for anyone who's doing YouTube F1 championships, you won't even need to create a table anymore. It will save it all for you.
Incoming connection.
This is all lining up to be suspiciously good online play.
No, it'll come to the moment we start the race and incoming Jensen Button takes off Jack Millington into the first corner.
Jensen Button has a tendency to take everyone else on F1 2015. But that multiplayer championship edition, haven't we been speaking about it for a few years, man?
Which?
Me and you, like last year when they first announced F1 2015.
Oh yeah, we thought there'll be a
and we
major
said we
championship.
wanted the multiplayer championship, and now they've finally done it. So that means I'll be starting at the back of the grid in the manor. I don't know about you two. I suppose you better get thinking because the game comes out a week on Friday.
I'm not getting it straight away. I've got other things to put money towards. You understand?
Condoms you'll never use.
Why would Mikey buy condoms that he wouldn't use?
No, maybe have.
No, don't go there.
Do you know what, Matt? Would you like me to explain what the money's going towards?
Your license, which you're never going to get.
That was a bit cruel.
See, and this
I'm trying to joke. I'm trying to.
There's joking, and then there's the line.
Okay, the line. I crossed the line the other day. I admit. I'm sorry, but that wasn't crossing the line.
You're like, here's the line, and then you're like there. And
I haven't crossed it then, have I?
I'll keep pushing it.
Push the line.
And then he'll just come out and go, like, you really gay.
Yeah. Basically,
I
what
admit I did cross the
it's
line.
for my car. My first bit of insurance, right? And obviously all the other bits I need for it. And if there's an issue with that, if I have to... Do you know what? Fuck off. No, I can't be arsed.
The only reason why I did that is because I felt like you were going towards another, Academy Award nomination.
No.
That's the only reason why I did it.
I'd like to thank my mates Jack and Matty for inspiring me to get my car.
Shut the fuck up.
He's going to hurt you.
I know.
I look forward to that.
I'm driving off before he can.
I think that's it.
2-hour podcast. Can we make 8 minutes? I've got anything we can talk about for 8 minutes. Hey Mike, how'd you driving lesson go?
Not all,
Oh.
See, look what you've caused.
Oh, we didn't do the movie review.
You can do the movie review if you want. I'll let you lead.
Okay, right. As people may know, all the hype about Suicide Squad that's been coming out lately. It was released, I think, on Friday morning, Thursday night.
Thursday morning
then, my bad. And it got severely crap reviews all around by all the major reviewy people. Reviewy.
Oh my god.
Sound
Do
like
you mean
Chewy?
the reviewing?
Just reviewers would have been fine.
Reviewy people sounds better.
Reviewy sounds like a friggin' 4-year-old trying to say viewy.
No, reviewy sounds like Chewy. Hey!
Oh.
Racism.
Chewbacca.
It sounded like Dewey. Did it sound like Dewey to me?
I said
Was
Chewy.
Yeah, I thought it's like. I mean, you might have said Chewy, but it sounded like Dewey.
Fuck's sake.
You two have been so bad for pronunciation today.
You are always bad for your pronunciation anyway, Mike.
Right,
Go on, anyway.
Suicide Squad is around the major villains of DC Universe. Mainly Deadshot, Harley Quinn. For some reason, you had Killer Croc in it. And in the animated movie, they had this giant shark man.
I'm not too big up on my DC Universe, so...
Yeah, they had Captain Boomerang, which is normal. Harley Quinn.
Captain Boomerang did nothing in that film. He flew 2 boomerangs that's about it. And he both missed.
All he did was get his partner killed, that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is in it?
I had the captain thingy.
That
Captain
weird
Flag.
Navy guy.
Captain Flag. Colonel Flag? Captain Flag? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Colonel Flag.
Oh, they also had Inferno, who was a good character, I have to admit. He was one of the better ones. Amanda Waller's a bitch, as she always was.
Good. Because in the comics, she's
Evil.
ruthless. So they nailed her onto the character. You're a dirty-minded individual.
Oh, I'd like to say something else about Amanda Waller. The after the credits, they had a little scene with
Spoiler! Go on.
Bruce Wayne. And I like the fact that she's keeping all her cards close to her chest because she knows that Bruce is
Oh, yeah.
the Bat. Like she does in the comics, but she never tells anyone.
No. Just like in the comics.
Yeah. So I think that's good. You do see the Batman, which is good.
For like
3 seconds.
Like 3 seconds, yeah.
You see the Flash for about 1 second, and I have to admit the Flash is shit. The
They're
Flash.
making a separate film, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
That's just like Wonder Woman. But the Flash is not the Flash. He's not Barry.
Who is it who plays the Flash in the TV series? Do you know who it is?
Grant Justin.
There you go.
He should be the Flash in the movie if he bulked up a bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but even Stephen Amon who plays the Arrow, he's fucking brilliant. But it's like Batman, but TV.
Yeah.
So
now
story for it wasn't really much.
Oh,
The story plot for this movie was as bland as anything.
I thought we were going to be much more far apart, but it turns out we're not. The first 90 minutes of this film basically revolves around 3 characters: Deadshot, Harley Quinn.
Joker.
No, because he's in and out.
That's what I hated as well.
Killer Croc.
Not Killer Croc, bloody Amanda Waller.
Yeah.
They're really the only 3 characters. All the other ones get introduced and then blam, done.
What the hell happened with that fucking... Somehow we missed 2 days worth of fucking fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The first 90 minutes of this film, they spend it setting it up, and Deadshot's intro is actually pretty badass.
It's the best.
You know, it's strange when Will Smith is actually the best actor in a film, because it's been a long time since I've ever said that. But
I think he's a good actor. Anyway.
yeah, but he's been in a lot of crap films lately.
After Earth One.
Yeah. But I was watching this film in the first 90 minutes. I thought, all right, it's all right. You're doing things I like. Let's be honest, Jared Leto is no Heath Ledger, but then again, no one ever will be.
There's something about that. You know, Heath Ledger's joke was completely different to the comics and.
Well, yeah, because what they did with Jared Leto is they made him more sort of like
Comic-y.
50s, 60s jokes. So they made him a gangster and they made him rob banks, which is what he did in the comics
In the
for a
60s
while.
and 70s comics, I think.
Yeah. You're right. And I do quite like that. And
I like
Jared
this
Leto's he's all right. He's a good actor.
The one thing I hated, we didn't get to hear the full on. All we got was like 2 seconds worth of laughter. Freaky, but not enough.
I was watching this, but this first 90 minutes, they do really concentrate on 3 main characters.
It's mainly a film about Harley and Deadshot.
And like, funnily enough, they've been in a film before, haven't they? Together, Focus.
Which
That was
shit.
I enjoyed Focus, but I watched the film and I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Margot Robbie. I've never liked her.
She was in Tarzan as well. She ruined that.
She's in Wolf of Wall Street and she was bang tardy. So I just thought.
Thanks for ruining.
Well,
Matty's
I'm
review,
glad you brought that up, because this is another thing. I do not find her attractive in the slightest. I actually don't. I just think she's overrated. But she's not. It's Harley Quinn. She's all right, but
she's not crazy like she is in the comics.
She's not comic book Harley Quinn, and that outfit is ridiculously stupid. What's the point?
They actually had the original red and black costume for like a little 2 seconds.
Yeah, you did. For some reason,
and she picked it up, and yet she wore this slutty little
whatever it was.
Yeah,
I don't
really,
know.
and you weren't happy about that, knowing you.
I'm a comic
You want,
fan. I want
for the big comic that you want it proper. No matter. I mean,
I know.
we like sluts, but we don't like sluts in comic books. And I don't like it, isn't that? So I'm biased against it. And they had the Enchantress, and
honestly,
which kind of mixed in with the finale of the plot. I'm trying not to spoil this, but literally the last half an hour of this film is awful. Oh my
the way it ended was fucking bollocks.
God, Where was the action?
The Batman.
There was no action to the end of this film. It was like watching a full budget scale of a zombie film, wasn't it? It was like a zombie film at the end, wasn't it? Really, the last half an hour.
Oh yeah. You know in the bar scene he says, "I'll get you there, even if I have to carry you."
Yeah.
No gunshots. They walked up. Inferno did all the pushing.
They don't. Captain Boomerang, like I said before, throws like 2 boomerangs in the whole film. One of them he catches, the other one misses. I don't know where it went.
Oh, he threw one that scoped out inside. He somehow controlled it with his phone, even though he didn't press a button. It somehow telepathic.
and
then it gets smashed.
Oh god! You know what? This film is.
Even the Katana Girl.
Even the music was poor. Like it makes sense to have like a sort of violin score, or like, you know, Hans Zimmer or someone like that with their big booming orchestral music.
Hans Zimmer wouldn't use first. This wasn't.
But you know what I'm getting at, like an orchestral type of film. They didn't do that. They did.
I actually like the music in this one. Mainly because it's like villainous and yay funny. But
just this is. Do you know what it is? Like a lot of people were looking. I know. I seen on Facebook someone said, "Oh, Suicide Squad's the best film all year," and it got like 20 likes, and I sat there and went, "Are you serious?" And a lot of people are insulting those that don't like it because they don't understand it. I understand it. I just thought it was awful.
My mate's a comic book fan like me, and he went to see it on the day it released, and he said it's fucking bollocks.
Is he a DC fan?
Yeah, he's like me.
Yeah, I just like, because I won't deny I'm a Marvel fan first. I will not deny that.
Spider-Man fan all the way.
But
I do like Miss DC.
But I did not. I went into it with an open mind, and I came out of it with a blurred mind full of balls.
I went into it thinking, Joe could be epic. You don't barely fucking see him.
Don't you hardly see him? And
has,
they're just all they're doing, isn't it, like a big advertisement basically? They're trying to get a Justice League film. I sit there and I think, what are you doing? Like, the only hope for the rest of the year is the Wonder Woman film.
I think that's going to be
and I just have a bad feeling
it's
that's
World War One as well. You know the picture in the end, Batman vs Superman movie?
Yeah.
It's how she gets into that.
Yeah, I know. And
It's going to be bugs.
I'll tell you what it's going to be like.
It's going to be full of explosions.
Steve Rogers just peered out of it.
And she'll somehow learn.
Different kind of. That's the joke.
Wrong war, by the way. Just saying.
I know. But
you know, Wonder Woman's meant to fly, and yet she didn't.
Oh no, she doesn't even fly.
She's meant to fly and have an invisible jet.
What DC are doing, right? They're trying to do what Marvel have done in
fail.
like a quarter of the time. Marvel took 4 to 5 years getting the films together to make the first.
Iron Man 1.
Iron Man 1, which was 2007, 2008?
2005.
No, that's too early. It was towards it's 2007, 2008.
Yeah. Then it started with the Incredible Hulk. Then it went to Iron Man 2. Then it went
Incredible Hulk was before Iron Man.
It wasn't, because Robert Downey Jr. came in at the end and said he's starting up the Justice League.
Avengers.
Yeah, starting the Avengers.
Yeah.
And then it was Iron Man 2. Then it was Captain America 1.
Was it? I'm sure First Avenger came out before. And I'm sure 4 came out before the second Iron Man.
Wasn't Iron Man was before?
No, Iron Man 2. I'm sure the other 2 films came before Iron Man 2. I'm sure it was.
Anyway, it's taken 10 years.
It took a long time. And DC are trying to do that in like a year and a half, and it's just...
I mean, the people they've got lined up for this fucking Justice League movie are fucking poor.
I don't understand. Like, do you know when...
Aquaman might be good.
Aquaman is actually probably their only saving grace at the minute.
I know, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I thought
Ben Affleck is brilliant as Batman.
But Bruce Wayne is not.
No, but...
He was brilliant as Bruce Wayne
I
as well.
thought it was good. It should have darkened more.
That's Christopher Nolan's Batman. There's been like there's loads of takes of Batman.
I sit here, right, I look at the DC universe. You know Captain Boomerang, it was originally supposed to be played by Tom Hardy. I can see why Tom Hardy pulled out of being Captain Boomerang. He's seen the script and went, I'm fucking hardly in this. I've got other arrangements for other films.
Hey, we just got on. You know they said they didn't want to kill like 1,000 people, and yet when she kissed the people, they turned into zombies.
That's
Spoiler alert! And yet they go... No, why didn't they just use a fucking nuke?
How many members of the Suicide Squad? Harley Quinn doesn't actually have any powers. She's just nuts.
Oh yeah, she's just crazy.
If I could give this film a rating, I'm going to jump in first because I thought this was an appalling film. And I didn't even pay for it. You know, I got it for free. So my rating for this film, yeah, you're sliding into one of the worst ratings I've ever given a film. That's a 3.5 for me. It's bloody awful. Did not enjoy it.
Graphics wise, meh. The fact it's all American hero, we're flying in with the army again. Same shit every fucking movie. Harley Quinn was a bit crazy, I like that. The Joker...
At the start she was good and then she just...
slided. The Joker was evil and I like that.
Deadshot was the best thing in the film.
Oh yeah.
Deadshot, actually Will Smith can come out of this and go, yeah, my career is actually slightly improved. He's the only one.
Amanda Waller was dark and secret keeping. The fact you see Batman was a...
Those two people, Amanda Waller and Deadshot, are actually the only two people or two characters in the film that actually were any good.
The Batman in it was alright, I reckon. Even though you only see him for 3 seconds,
Yeah, that's what
it's
I
a
mean.
darker Batman. You don't see it from his perspective, you see it from theirs.
Yeah.
So you see the car go around the corner. Yeah.
What would you give it as a rating?
I don't know. Because I'm a die-hard fucking superhero fan.
I know. But if you didn't like it, so you've got to be honest with yourself.
I didn't like it, but I enjoyed it more than Batman vs Superman.
Oh, it's better than Batman vs Superman.
can't-
Jesus Christ.
For funny boys it was, but
I enjoyed Batman v Superman.
Yeah, but
wasn't
do you,
great.
I'll say this to you, Mikey. Do you understand any of what was happening?
Yeah, either way.
What happened?
spoiler alert.
Could you actually explain what? I mean, could you actually?
Not really.
No, exactly. That's the problem.
But
I could.
understood.
Bruce Wayne went crazy.
But you know the comics. I mean, for people
I
that
don't know every comic.
No, but you.
I watch
know-
the TV series, I play the games, I read the comics now and then. I read up on the lore. Okay, that makes me a bit of
But do you know what they should have done for the
Was it
Suicide
really?
Squad? What they should have done was they should have. What was the animated film? Batman Return to Arkham.
Yeah.
Came out. That's one of the best animated film.
That's the
In
movie
fact-
I was thinking about.
That is the best, and that's what they should have done.
They should just kept it
They should
as
have done
that.
for the Suicide Squad. That would have been amazing. But no, they did something different.
You know what? I honestly thought, why didn't they just make that into live action?
That's what they should have done. That.
They even included Arkham in it. They could have just...
I know. You think about all the missed opportunities, and it frustrates you more than angers.
I mean, having Batman part of trying to take down the Suicide Squad was a lot better than heads going... and Amanda Waller going... You'll save me. Oh, you'll go... Right,
Come on,
rating.
you should at least tell what the fuck happens in a minute. Because like,
Yeah, we will do.
Matty would probably be better.
Rating wise for me,
If you go lower than me, I'd be surprised.
I won't go lower than you.
you'll probably just go the same.
The Joker and Batman saved this movie for me.
No, because the Batman was hardly in it, so I can't.
It's the end. It's the end. After the credits, I like that little scene.
You take the credits out, you got nothing.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Pretty much. The Joker was a creepy. Yay. Harley Quinn, crazy. Yay.
For a bit.
Yeah. Deadshot was
The
just
best thing in
kick
the
ass.
film.
4.
Yeah, it is literally. I mean, you know, a lot of
Even
people,
the graphics are fucking
a lot of
poor.
people were saying like the movie critics have been harsh.
They
And at
haven't.
first, I thought that like it was like it can't be that bad. Shit. No, it is. It is. It is.
Even
poor.
after all the hype they caused, all the trailers as well.
I'm looking forward to the Justice League just falling apart on its own face.
My mate thinks it's gonna fucking reboot itself soon.
It's too late, isn't it? To do a reboot.
They've already. I think they're trying to make solo Batman movies.
They can't.
They did line it up with the Batman vs Superman with the Jason Todd
Yeah, I
costume,
suppose.
and then they've lined up the Joker and Harley Quinn.
But it's too late to reboot it now because they've already spent millions of pounds on it. It's way too.
Well done, Warner Brothers.
Meanwhile, over in Marvel's head studios.
Yep, so that's a 4 rating from me and a 3.5 from Jack.
Yeah, 3.5. It's just not worth seeing. So
I would say if you're a DC fan,
yeah, if you're a
see
DC
what you
fan,
think, but me.
don't yeah, don't listen to us.
Just like Mikey doesn't do it anyway.
Stop.
Now, if you want to follow,
I hate that.
if you want to follow, that's the end of the
I hate that.
podcast for this week.
Just
If you want
every fucking
if you want to
time.
He
follow,
loves you really.
if you want to follow Captain Tap Tap on Twitter, it's
Mikey Keating XD.
You want to follow Captain Shit for Brains here?
It's
Who's that?
you dickhead. Captain Brokeback over here, yeah?
That's Admiral Brokeback.
Why did it change every time?
Why'd you get promotion?
I can do what I want. Lieutenant Brokeback.
So, sorry, you've just been promoted
And
last week, then
demoted.
demoted like last week?
It's my own title. I don't give a toss. But you can follow me at JetTM53. You can like, subscribe, comment. No, don't comment. If you can watch us, actually, if you just watch us, that'd be fine.
You're missing one person.
Yeah, but
You
you
can
don't
also
have Twitter.
You can
don't
also
have
follow
Facebook.
Matty. No, you can also follow Matty Morris at the job centre soon after he's burnt down his local headquarters. We enjoyed that one, and that's
The
it.
Facebook?
Yeah, you can like us on Facebook.
Nah,
if
that's it, fair.
You can like us on YouTube, you can subscribe
You
on
can
YouTube,
also-
you can comment on YouTube.
you can
He
also-
said this,
I've
man.
already said
and
this.
just repeat it
And
for
I
people
want
who
to say,
don't know.
I want to say thank you.
For
I want to say
listening to this podcast.
no. I'm not saying that. I want to say thank you to the guy who retweeted my tweet about last week's podcast. Whoever that was, thank you. Because
We actually got a retweet.
Someone retweeted my S-Team podcast link and it got retweeted. I don't know who it was,
Was that the
but
one where I was drinking too much? Wow, someone cares about me! Woohoo!
no, actually, no, it was the one after that.
Ah,
So someone retweeted, whoever it was, thank you. It's our first retweet. But that's it for this week's
What's
podcast.
next?
What's
It's
the first?
I don't know anyone who's retweeted it before.
I don't even
You
know
don't count. It's bye from Matty.
Bye bye.
Bye from Mikey.
Bye bye, it's bye from Shit for Brains here.
It's bye from me, and we've been the S-Team.